Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Victoris Valorant Rivals Series Summer Split for 2022. It is week 3, and just like the weather, the action is only getting hotter. So this week, we're going to be going back to an old favorite. V3 is returning to the stream, but this time they're taking on Nature's Wrath. Can they withstand Gaia's full fury? We're going to find out shortly. But first, my name is Tim Serbrook. I'll be your host tonight, and I'm joined this week by 1B, our star analyst, and first-time caller, long-time listener, Juggle God. Welcome to the broadcast.
Hello. I'm very excited to be here. Was looking forward to joining you all last week, but slight mishap meant I had to miss it. So glad to be jumping in the broadcast here this time around.
It's great to have you along. And 1B, we've seen some fantastic action over the last 2 weeks. In particular, last week, V3, they started off slow, but they were able to put their foot down, put the pedal to the metal, and eventually ran over Goofy Goblins, thanks to a stellar showing in particular from Sloth.
Yeah, Sloth, I actually did count the amount of kills that she got in that whole series. 78 kills as Arena and Chambermain. She popped off. She popped off. But again, like you said, it was a 2-1 showing between both V3 Dreams and Goofy Goblins. Went all the way to the 3 maps. It was a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde at first from both of the teams. We saw a good first map from Goofy Goblins, a bad second map. Same thing for V3. Good first map, bad second map, or bad first map, good second map. So I flipped those. And then their experience took them all the way on the last map, which was Breeze. So they're going to be looking to retain their first place position in Group A, because they've told us before, like, they're coming back with a little bit of vengeance. They have a chip on their shoulder, and they're looking to show it in this summer split.
They will. So go ahead,
Go
Juggle.
ahead. No, you.
Yes, so you mentioned they're going top of the group. So let's take a look at the standings as they stand. I say pun kind of intended. Anyway, so yes, V3, 2 wins from the group. Season go top, and there you can see a stark contrast between the results so far that are played out in each of the groups. Looking at Group B, we saw them first week. PGR took on Tataku Tobu Breeze. And it seems the teams that have won in first week have continued their dominance into the second week. So we see a very, it's just a very balanced table, if you want to call it. 2 wins or 2 losses, both all clean 2-0s as well. So Group B shaping up to look like a bit divisive with a player divide. But Group A is where we're going to focus our attention this week. Very interesting. There's been wins, losses. There's been lots of close matches in this group. So Juggle, tell us about what that means going forward in the season, especially for those teams like Team Greed or Nature's Wrath, who we're seeing today, who are a little down the luck, but they're not too far away from making it into the top 4 spots and getting themselves into playoffs.
Well, I think that what this indicates is Group A is going to be very competitive, right? Because there's there's a lot that's missing when you just look at the individual score lines, right? You don't see how the teams played in each individual game. You don't see round for round how they went. And a lot of these teams are performing very well. They just weren't able to, come in with that clutch factor to take the win. So even though we've got Nature's Wrath down 0-2 today, going up against the 2-0 side of V3, I'm still anticipating a good game. I'm still anticipating a close one. I am going to give the edge to V3. Absolutely. I mean, they're coming in as a team that's had 3 years experience playing together in Overwatch before moving to Valorant. So I think they're the favorites in this match, but I would not be surprised at all if we see an upset coming in from Nature's Wrath.
I'll be definitely looking forward to it. And 1B, let's have a look at the team lineups. Starting out with V3. You saw them last week, but they're going to be a slight little change. Vendetta, it's actually their coach, also goes by Royal, won't have to be playing today. So going to be sitting in the coach's slot. They've got their newest member added to the lineup, Wheatley, joining them for this week.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've said this last week as well. Zavi is not going to be able to join us for the summer 2022 split. So now, in place of them, they finally find that replacement, because last week, like you said, Temporal, they had to play with their coach, and they didn't look uncomfortable. They looked uncomfortable in the first map. They didn't look uncomfortable in the last 2 maps that they played, but it was probably an uncomfortable situation for them nonetheless. They get a newcomer into this team called Wheatley. We don't really know that much about them, so I'm going to keep my eyes on on them for this very first matchup that we do see of them in Victoris Esports in the VRS league. But um, they finally got those trials and they finally found a player that they like, and now maybe there is no weak spot in their team at this point in time.
There may not be, but Juggle God, I know you've seen plenty of different teams at different levels. Either sticking with the core roster or adding new players as well. What openings could Nature's Wrath get into these V3 lineup, given that they're working with a player they haven't necessarily played with before?
I think what you absolutely do is you target them, right? You set your sights on Wheatley because first off, they're an unknown, right? So you need to learn as much as you can about this player as fast as you can, right? So making sure you've got your eyes on them as the opponent, I think, is going to be very, very important. And in addition, since likely the synergy isn't there as it is with the other teammates, focusing in on what could be a weak link. I'm not saying they will be, but what could be a weak link, even if they're a great player, just in terms again of that synergy, targeting that could help to unravel what V3 is trying to do.
It could. And speaking of Nature's Wrath, we can take a look at their lineup too. Newcomers to this broadcast and relative newcomers to the Victorious Rival Series as well. 1B, talk to us a little bit about this lineup.
Well, unfortunately, we do not have any statistics on the teams quite yet. I did have a look at the results, and from what I could tell, I put it in my notes here, is that Beast and Naga, yeah, Beast and Naga are the two players that I'm going to be looking at today, at least for the side of Nature's Wrath. They're consistently at the top of the table, both of them like under or well, not top of the table as in like they're on top of the other team, but as in consistently the two better performing players for Nature's Wrath. And I don't know, like this roster again, they're an unknown entity within VRS. They haven't had the best of luck when it comes to their start of the season, going 0-2, having to forfeit one of their maps. I believe that was against Hunters Association, suffering a then 2-1 loss against Goofy Goblins. It's not the best start for them. And it wouldn't be a surprise if a lot of people picked V3 Dreams as their favorite in this matchup.
Indeed, I was not. I'm looking at that little schedule just went through. They lost to Hingy. I don't think necessarily going to be looking too badly at that because Hingy then went on to beat Hunter Association, who beat Nature's Wrath in the first week as well. So they're shaping up to be a very strong team. But like Hingy, Nature's Wrath, a very new roster to the tournament. So Juggle, what do you think teams that are new to the space lanes, they've only been a team 6 months and doesn't actually have a lot of tournament experience, what can those teams be looking to gain from this tournament, if not outright victory from the very start?
I I think the biggest thing that you want to gain is synergy, right? Valorant is a team game. That team play is so valuable, so important. So that's going to be the big thing that I hope that these newer teams, even at 6 months, right? 6 months isn't necessarily a short amount of time, right? Um, it's still a pretty substantial amount of time to get together and work with a team. But until you're in a tournament, right? Until you've had to go through that process, that synergy doesn't really have time to mature. And that's what I'm going to be looking for from these teams as we move forward throughout the tournament.
All right, and talking about things we're looking forward to, it's time we can go to we can do some predictions. So far we've there's been some. I'll say there's been some mixed results. I'm being charitable a little bit to myself. Starting from right, hang on, let me just figure out which side you're on. Yeah, you're on that side of me. I'm just remembering the camera's flipped. So starting from right to left, 1B, we're going to stick with V3. You've seen them in action. You think that's a good bet, or perhaps Nature's Wrath haven't been seen on screen, and they're going to come out with a little bit of surprise for us, especially given that we've been able to do research on their opponent.
Um, No, I think I'm gonna stick with V3. I think it's only fair because they've already proven to us that when things get tough, even when they don't have their full roster, they can pull out results, and they did that last week. They have some really good players on this team, and they're looking to make a deeper playoff run than we saw them do in the spring split. And they've had a great start to the season. So I mean, keep it up. I wanna see them keep it up. I'm rooting for them secretly. Bias caster. I know.
And Juggle God, your feelings on the matter?
So I think I said it a little bit earlier. I think it's going to be V3, but I don't think it's going to be a 2-0. I know we're not necessarily putting the score lines in our prediction, but I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there anyway. I think it's going to be a 2-1 game. I think that it's going to be a first map going to. Actually, no. I think the first map might actually go the way of Nature's Wrath. And then the second two are going to go the way of V3. So I'm going to go deep into my predictions and just go ahead and talk about it just about as much as I can in it.
Are you willing to go down to the level of giving us a score line? Then perhaps we go one level deeper. You actually you draw a picture of the scoreboard as it will end up. How many assists do you think Wheatley's going to get in their first match in the VRS?
All right, I'm going to go 13-9 for the first game. Let's see here. Then it's going to go 13-11 for the second, and then the last one I think is going to be a little bit more decisive. It'll go to 13-8. As far as
that'll
the
be V3's experience coming in. Okay, they've done 3 map series before. They've been a team for a long while now. It's just some of these new teams have trouble keeping up.
And yeah, for the assist on Wheatley,
down, by the way.
What's that?
Off. The broadcast can't see it, but our producer is noting it down, so you will be held accountable for your predictions at the end of this match.
Excellent. Looking forward to seeing what I can do. Yeah, we'll see if I'm Nostradamus or I don't Nostradamus. It's going to be one or the other.
Well, I am going to err on the side of the underdog in this series. Nature's Wrath, I think, have had a bit of time now to congeal as a team. They're coming in with their same 5 players that they've been running for the majority of the rest of the tournament. So I think now is the time for them. They'll need a good first map, and it's a nice little segue actually into talking about the map selection. The bans and picks have come through. Icebox Hate. So for this tournament, it's a little different from VCT. We actually do 4 bans straight out, and then from the 3 maps left, teams pick what they like. So Icebox, Haven, Fracture, and Bind gone. So the map order for tonight will be Ascent, which was picked by Nature's Wrath, followed up by Breeze, which was V3 selection, which last week we saw was a great choice for them. Well, it was decided, but it was great for them. And Split will be left over to decide things if we get that far. But 1B, first map out of the box will be Ascent for Nature's Wrath. I don't believe we saw V3 play here last week, so a little new for us. Actually, have we even seen Ascent on broadcast yet? I don't know if it was played first week as well. Anyway, so Ascent, tell us about what we can expect to see from the teams on this map.
Well, before I say that, I will say that I'm not surprised by the Ascent pick from Nature's Wrath. This is a map that they like to play, and they're kind of decent on it. They lost the series 2-1 against Goofy Goblins, and the one map that they won in that series was Ascent, and they did by the scoreline, by the scoreboard. From what I could judge, is that they did pretty well on it. So I would expect for them to have a good match on it, maybe even get a surprise win over V3 Dreams, because we didn't see it last week, so we don't know what to expect from V3 Dreams this week.
And going forward, when we do make it to... sorry, we'll discuss Breeze when we get there. So, sorry, Juggle God, going into Ascent, so Sloth historically played Reyna. Do you think we'll be seeing that coming out from them here on Ascent? Is that a normal pick for that, or do you think maybe a special pick might work given how fruitful it proved for them last week?
I think that they're likely going to go Reyna again, because I think you know don't fix what ain't broke, right? You go with what's worked in the past. What I will say is I think that I would rather see a Jet on this map, just because of the high ground on point A on that site. So I think Jet might be overall a stronger pick, but you definitely want to go with what you're comfortable with in these kinds of tournaments, and that's what I'm expecting we'll see from Sloth.
Well, the teams are just about ready to go. We're just confirming that, yes, everyone's in here. Everyone is ready. All right, we're about to go into Agent Select. So, Wumby and Juggle God, take it away.
All right, thank you so much for joining us. And now let's take a peek. Let's see what is going to happen, what these teams are thinking as we head into Agent Select. Now, Ascent. One of the things that I wanted to mention about that in particular first is that it's a very, very even map, right? An even-sided map. It's not necessarily stronger on defense or attack. It comes out very 50-50. I mean, yes, if we look at statistics, if we look at the nitty-gritty of it, it may be slightly defender-sided. But I think at that point you're splitting hairs. So, I think we're going to know a lot after V3's attack, right? If they're able to come away with a significant lead on attack, then they're likely going to be able to snowball that into a win. I think we're going to pause here for just a second because may have had a DC happen, so hoping to get one of the players back in the lobby. But how does that sit with you, Wumby? What are your feelings on this?
My feelings on Ascent. I mean, like I totally agree with what you're saying. I'm like I said, I am going to be focusing more or less on Nature's Wrath and how they do perform in their very first map. Again, I expected them to pick Ascent. This is a map that they had that well, we've only had like 2 weeks of games played, but like that's a map that they won they had a good result on against Nature's Wrath, so I'm expecting to see the same thing here. And one focus that I actually did note down in my notes, because I do write them like a nerd, is that what I am going to be looking for Nature's Wrath is how do they play together as a team? Because I'm only seeing two players really high up on the scoreboard, and then the rest of them are near the bottom, and it's not looking too good. And if they're depending on two players for most of their season, that's not going to work because Valorant is a team game after all.
You're absolutely right, and one of the one of the ways that you can mitigate the effectiveness of a carry, right? Because let's go ahead and call them that, right? And in this case, they have been a carry, right? These two players. One of the ways that you mitigate the effectiveness of a carry is just swing on them with 2 or 3 people, right? No matter how good they are, unless you're swinging in a way that lines up perfectly and you get a collat, right? But if you swing on them with multiple people, they can't shoot 2 people at once, right? You're going to be able to deal with them. You're going to be able to take them out of the equation. So that's something that I'm going to be looking for next time, or this time rather, from V3, is if they start to find 1 or 2 of these players on Nature's Wrath carrying, then I anticipate we're going to see a focus on them.
Indeed. All right, we've had the last player rejoin the lobby, so we can get restarted. Both teams are ready. Agent Select, hopefully, is a go. I'm just going to wait and see if it happens. Yes, all right, it's actually loading properly this time. So
we get there.
Once again, take it away.
All right, thank you so much again, Temporal. Great having you with us. And I just want to say, too, this is, I think, only the second or third time I've worked with a host. So it's quite a pleasure to have one and to have another voice in the mix as well. But let's take a look at what these players are thinking. Anything jumping out at you at the moment, Wumby?
Well, she's right on your screen, Mr. Turkish operator herself, Fate. Wait, is that a double Fate? What is my game glitching, or is that a double Fate pick on? Okay, no. My fade, my whole screen was glitching. I don't know what the hell that was. But Beast is on the KO. We do see Crane on the fade, and I actually made a couple of notes about fade as well. Fade on this map works a little bit like Sova, especially when you use her. I'm trying to think of the ability here, her haunt ability, where you can reveal certain locations or certain enemies' locations around the map. So I'm a bit happy about this fade pick. I'm wondering what it could do for the side of Nature's Wrath since they are picking it. Nothing too surprising on the side of V3 Dreams though. So like we said, she's gonna go on Arena because it's something that she's comfortable with. It's either Reyna or Chambers for her.
Ah, I see. So it's Reyna or Chamber in her wheelhouse then. So Jet isn't even really an option for her. Not one of the typical agents that you're going to see come out of Philosophical. You mentioned the difference, or rather the similarities between Fade and Sova coming out on the attacking side for V3 makes a lot of sense as well. Sova's very, very strong, and I think especially on B site, right? That's where I find a lot of their value to come from.
Yeah, especially when you, again, like you said, you mentioned it on B side, but the way that he is effective on B side is if you use your arrow, where this B main wall is. You launch the arrow over the little grates, stick it into B main, or garage as some people would call it. And then once those locations are revealed, then you just shoot down that wall that's painted over at B main. And sometimes you can get some pretty easy kills. That's why this lane area of B is so popular with Odin and Sova, because, well, you just reveal those locations and you spray down that wall with the Odin, and then you might find yourself a neat kill.
You might indeed. We're going to start things off with a push coming in onto B site from V3. Starting to peek around the corner. It's going to be Philosophical first. They're going to meet Naga Jr., who takes a quick shot with the Headhunter. Their location going to be revealed, though, by Sova. Going to be a quick push now onto the site as well. Naga able to take one out of the fight. That's going to be Wheatley. That's that player that we were wondering about how they were going to do. Philosophical able to come in with the trade now. And we're seeing the defenders starting to rotate in. Crane Train coming through market.
Planted.
But it's just 2 players remaining now from their side. Can they come away with it? Hawk committed. Location's going to be revealed. Here comes the Prowler. It's going to find its intended target, blinding them for just a second. E3 right behind these boxes where Crane Train is. They're going to be good for the kill, but the attackers still take the round.
Good fast-paced round from the attackers to immediately just sniff out the weakness in B and rush into the B site. There was no utility committed from the side of Nature's Wrath. And one thing that I did want to mention is the fact that they don't have a KJ on this map like, V3 do. And KJ is very, very crucial on the defensive side, especially when she has those nano swarms active. They don't have anything to slow down that push nor do damage to the attackers, and that's exactly why that round went the way that it did. But now we see V3. They're able to buy Spectres this round plus full shields, so gun difference might make a difference this round for them, and it might go in their favor whole-handedly.
We'll catch them.
We're going to see Sova's Cloud committed onto the door. Push coming out on the A site now. KJ backing off with the spike, though. This could end up being a rotation coming out from V3.
No charges.
Though they have the guns, they likely could just push relatively easily. They are still going to go through for the rotate, and they're going to take it through mid, actually, 1B.
Yeah, gonna rotate from A main into mid. The Paranoia not Paranoia, but the Dark Cloud's going out in order to, well, smoke off B main. That's where that Dark Cloud went. The Suppression Knife getting a little bit of intel as well. Crane Train just pushes into all 5 of V3 Dreams, and he gets immediately smoked. So what looked to be a rotation to the B site is actually going to be a fake on that rotation, and they're focusing on the A site. Plant is also going down, and now
Spike planted.
Nature's Wrath, they have to play for retake.
That they do, and it's only going to be with 4 members. 2 of them posted up in tree, looking to break down that door. Start to enter. As soon as they do, though, Philosophical there for the pick. Now a couple players in heaven as well, but Philosophical has their sights set on them. It's a 3v2. Naga Jr. is on site now. They can start to push onto it. They're able to take away that KJ neutral on the spike, but they have to get the kills. They have to clear the site, and they're unable to do just that. D3 takes the second round.
Good little 2K from Smitty down in hill, and that is how the cookie crumbles for Nature's Wrath. Again, the one thing that I should have criticized during the agent select that I am going to criticize now is the fact that they didn't bring a KJ. In fact, in place of the KJ is the Raze, which isn't really a replacement, because I mean the only thing that you can compare between them is the fact that Raze, she does have the paint shell, she could slow those pushes down, and she also has her boom bot, which can do a lot of damage and can kill on impact at times, but it's not enough to slow down these pushes or, well, that fake rotate that came in from V3 Dreams at the end of the day.
Yeah, you're right. There's a lot more post-plate util on the side of V3, and when you're playing Omen in the absence of either a Brimstone, which I think is the other pick that you would likely see from a smoker on Ascent, you're losing a lot of that post-plant util, right? You're gonna have a lot more with KJ, so I think that's absolutely the pick that you want to make here. Push coming up through mid, though. Crane Train gonna be good for 1. Wax Coyote follows up with a second, and now
1 enemy remaining.
Nature's Wrath is showing us exactly what they are made of, taking it down to just Smitty. There's 1 player left. They're gonna see if they can come away with double kills here. Maybe hurt the youth a little bit, but that's not going to be in the cards this time around.
Yeah, V3 Dreams getting their bonus screwed over right there, and it comes off of a full buy as well from Nature's Wrath, and since that was a flawless for them, they still retain their weapons from that last round. The only thing that probably needs to be regathered this time from JCX is going to be his full shields, but we do see a timeout come out for V3 Dreams, and that's probably because, again, like I said, they screwed over their own bonus, and they are going to be able to full buy this round, but losing this upcoming round could be the end of them. But what I really like from Nature's Wrath there, and I hate to keep going on here, but it's the fact that, again, they knew based off of that full buy that V3 Dreams was playing for the bonus, and since they have that full buy, and since V3 Dreams are playing for their bonus, the gun difference is clearly in Nature's Wrath's favor. They decided to play aggressive. They knew they could play aggressive because they knew they could win those gunfights, and they dominated V3 Dreams in mid because of those gunfights.
Yeah, they certainly did. And I think another reason they dominated, too, was the fact that V3 decided to push with all 5 players through mid, right? They were able to completely surround them. Nature's Wrath didn't have to worry about a flank, anything like that. They were able to focus their fire just down that lane, whereas V3 didn't know where the defenders were necessarily coming from.
Absolutely correct. And it just, there were players, like you said, there were players in mid, but there were also players coming in behind from, well, not really from behind, but mainly from their sides. There was a player just rotating through A trees, and it just, you know, the gun difference was clearly there, but now both of these teams are on equal footing when it comes to guns. Heeker and Sloth does have both of their ultimates. So whether or not they'll pop it this round, well, we'll see, because it looks like they're prepping for an A push, or even, well, look at Wheatley's position, lurking through garage. Joggle.
Yeah, Wheatley going for this interesting lurk right here. I imagine they're just going to wait until some of the defenders decide to rotate out to A site, but attackers still not necessarily committed to that site. We see Omen hanging back in mid towards Catwalk. It's got to be a KO knife committed though, so now they're at least aware that somebody is thinking about it, as Seeker has been suppressed, and the defenders, NW, they know this. Shot coming in from Beast. That's going to be
mid.
them down. The trade comes in, and now we hear the Empress committed as well from Philosophical.
The Empress is going to be committed, and it gives
30
Sloth
seconds
such
left.
a big boost in terms of the fragging compartment. Wheatley just going into it is not going to look behind him until now, and there goes JCX to grab that kill. And for the side of V3 Dreams, their focus looks like it's going to be on this B site. Sloth has the spike in hand, going to get 1, maybe get 2, but this misses just at the right time. Good usage of the Reyna's utility, but they don't know about Naga's position in Boathouse. No, they don't. He gets
remaining.
1. There goes another, this time for JCX. V falls, so the Smitty and Sloth in the 1v3 situation.
Oh my gosh.
Not enough time. We've seen her clutch these type of situations before, but again, she doesn't have enough time to even get the spike down, let alone find 3 bloody kills.
I think that was a little bit of a misplay from Philosophical. You know, they had the spike. You had 15 seconds in order to plant it. If nothing else, you at least fake the plant, right? To try and bring out some of those defenders, to try and bring them out. So even if you're going for picks, still utilize that spike as a way to help bring them out. Attackers now all still in spawn. This could be a default.
Yeah, for them, the gun disadvantage is ringing true because they are on a forced buy. Apart from Sloth, who stayed alive for the whole round, so she gets to keep her Vandal, but the rest of her team has to stay on pistols, plus a Spectre from B and 3 light shields. So let's see how this goes. The Prowler goes out. Does it hit its victim? I'm not sure if
I don't
hit
think it
B or
did.
not. Nah,
Yeah, it didn't look like it did, yeah. Push coming out onto A side. Once again, we've got Wheatley with the lurk on B. They've got a lot of util there, and that's exactly what I think Wheatley's trying to do. They're trying to lurk. They're trying to catch any rotations coming out from B side, but it hasn't been too effective for them yet. We're going to see the Haunt come out now, gets destroyed, so no great information gained there, except for the fact that they know at least 1 player from the attacking squad from V3 is up A main. Knife now committed as well. Defense looking for an opportunity. That's going to be philosophical through trees. The
30
slow
seconds left.
rotation working out very, very well for them. Now we're going to see the backup. Defender starting to rotate onto the high ground. Spike is down as Smitty falls. 3 players remaining for each squad. Just 1 now on the defense. That's going to be a thrifty round for V3.
And now you see, well, Wheatley gets a weapon, but the rest of their teammates do die. So now they have to buy this round, but it doesn't matter. Wheatley does get that weapon, so they do retain their credits, which is 4,500. Slop also keeping her Vandal from the 2 previous rounds before that. And for the side of Nature's Wrath, they do have 2 ultimates ready. It is going to be a Marshall buy as well from Beast because they don't really, or not a Marshall, sorry, my fault, a Spectre buy from them as we head into this next round. But both of these teams, it's teetering back and forth. No team having any real advantage, as it looks like it's going to be a V-Rush first kill going into Slop's favor. V3 Dreams with the main advantage.
Yeah, and it's going to be also the null command committed too from KO. That's going to be quite a bit of problem for this other squad, especially I think Wheatley, who once again has a lot of that post-plant util. If they can take it out with that null command, that could be a really big boon for them. Wheatley now able to get 1 pick on the Beast as they start to push through the smoke. We're going to see
1 enemy remaining.
Nightfall committed as well. That's going to reveal where a lot of the attackers are, but it's not going to matter if they can't get the picks. Wax Coyote now the last player alive. Starting to peek around lane, looks into Boathouse and finds a bullet to the face.
Yeah, good. I like that rush from this side of V3 Dreams. Just not being held off at bay whatsoever from any type of utility that Nature's Wrath were using. That rush, again, just working out so well for them. They did lose a couple of players in the process, but that is the cost of a rush. And now for Nature's Wrath, they are going to put themselves on a forced buy. We see judges. I see a Stinger. You never want to be on a Stinger when you have a Spectre as well. It just doesn't really make sense. Nature's Wrath also having 3 ultimates ready, so whether or not they'll all pop them all in this round is a question that's unanswered until we see them do it.
This is unfortunate. Crane Train's been revealed by the recon dart. They know that they're just lurking in this corner in wine, and once this smoke goes down, I'm anticipating a big push coming out. V3 knows they're there. Here with Toast looking down main, but now starting to focus their attention on wine. Here comes the paranoia. It's not going to catch anybody this time around. Crane Train looking for an opportunity to maybe try and push out. They have the haunt. They could use that in combination with a Prowler to maybe give themselves enough time, but Shock Dart's going to come in. That's 25 HP down. They're just going to whittle them away until they take them out. Now they once again have been revealed. We're going to see both the Prowler and the Seize come out. Seize doesn't find anybody. Second Prowler committed. They're just about out of util now. Omen tries to give them a smoke to help them get out of dodge, but once again, the haunt is destroyed too. This is just going from bad to worse for Crane Train.
What Crane Train is doing is a really good job at wasting time for V3, and that's exactly what they do. But look at this, V3 Dreams on the B site, getting that plant down, and now Nature's Wrath are forced to play retake. Heager gets 1, and that's JCX down. Spike has been planted, and Nature's Wrath, well, the last 3 players are left scrambling.
Yeah, they certainly are scrambling and without too much cohesion too at the moment, especially now that one other player is down. Naga Jr. trying to push through. Coyote in lane once again, but Wheatley this time comes away with the kill. Naga Jr. tries to push through, but the paranoia blinds them as they do. That's a flawless round for V3.
A recap of that round, basically Crane was stuck in wine for a majority of that round, got spotted out by not only the eyes of V3 Dreams, but also, well, a recon dart. It didn't ping their location, but it did get shot out by the player in wine, so that should have gave him the clue in the first place. Also got their health knocked down to about 25 HP due to a shock bolt from V. They still kept putting utility down there. They still had utility waste for them by their own teammates, the Dark Cloud being used on the A main doorway, and also Prowlers and Haunts. We saw that being thrown out by Crane, and ultimately what they did right in that was just waste some of V3 Dreams' utility and also waste a lot of their time, but nobody watching the B site, that was their downfall.
Yeah, it certainly was. Now, after seeing several rounds go the way of V3, the defenders are going to call for a timeout to see if they can uh, put their heads back on their shoulders, see if they can figure out exactly how they want to try and handle this squad and how they're pushing now. Because I think one of the great things that V3 is doing is they're playing the mind games well, right? They're playing the mind games in terms of which site they're going to push and when. We saw that fake rotation come out through catwalk into trees from a main, where even we at the desk thought that they were going to rotate out to B, but they instead didn't. So that combined again with this pressure that was put on Crane Train in Wine, while the rest of the team rotated to B, just shows to me that they're doing a great job of splitting the attention, right, of this NW team. But there's going to be Naga Jr. who takes out V first this time, so she's not going to be able to give too much value to her team. Wheatley strikes back with one. It's going to be Naga Jr. out of the fight. Beast contemplating pushing through the smoke, which could be a very, very dangerous thing. Paranoia let out. It's going to be a trade coming in, 3v3 now, but the attackers moving over towards B side.
Good way to play for that trade as well. I know Beast died because they walked through the Dark Cloud. You even said that. I don't even know if that's a good idea. He did it anyways. He wasn't going to listen to you, Jungle God, but he did it anyways. And it was to his demise. But again, playing for that trade game has been, well, it worked out. It works out for this round, but whether that can translate into the win is yet to be seen. We can see 2v1, a couple of kills go into V3's favor, and it does end in their round win, a 6-2 lead. And right now, their economy looks great. They look great. And Nature's Ref, they need to find a way to stop this momentum, but I don't think they're going to be able to do it in this round because they're going to be on full pistols, Jungle God. Or not full, I don't know what they're wanting to do. They can't full buy, so they had to either force or be on full pistols.
Yeah, it looks like they're electing to buy for next round at this point, right? It's gonna be just a couple of Spectres, a couple of Frenzies thrown in there to the mix. So, you know, your goal in a round like this, yes, it's always to win, but secondarily, you want to make a dent in the econ, and you especially need to do that right now. But it's going to be Philosophical once again picking up the first kill. Naga Jr. strike back going in. We've got a trade happening. It's going to be a quick 3v2 now in favor once again of V3. Throwing out the Haunt, trying to get a little bit of information, but in the meantime, Naga Jr. picked out in the middle of the field right here. Paranoia is going to be able to help get the pick onto Philosophical. Actually, it was going to be the Haunt from Crane Train doing that. Seas doesn't find anyone. Crane Train clears the corner. Now we've got the plant once again coming out onto B site, which really seems to be the favored location right now of B3. Crane Train looking to see if they can push in now through market. Question is, the door closed or not? Were they able to get that in time? They were, in fact. So now a lot of information been given as to where their location is. They know it's not going to come through main. It's just too little time to be able to rotate around for that. Haunt now committed, going to be destroyed on impact. Wheatley now peeking around this corner. They're going to be good for the kill.
Unfortunate as well for Crane Train, again stuck in the 1v2 situation, and no real business winning that regardless.
Spike's
because
here.
again, the one thing about Ascent that a lot of people make note of is it's kind of hard to attack. It's kind of intimidating to attack, but what's also very intimidating and what's also very hard to do is try to retake sites on it, especially when you're in a 1v2 situation. They gave away their location in mid, like you said, and then immediately got shut down when they tried to make their way down CT stairs. So now we head into round 10, and well, after that little janky buy that we saw from NW, we do get a full buy from them. They have the opportunity, they have a good amount of crits to do that because of the round loss bonus.
Coming in through A.
You should run.
Philosophical gonna be picked out. She is gone and out of the pipe. Now JTX gonna be pushing forward. Bot committed, as well as the paint shells. That's gonna be Naga Jr. taking one down. A quick 5v3 now. Wheatley looking to peek. But Cloud Smokehouse coming out now from Omen, going to stop that, at least for the moment. They're contemplating the rotation. Looks like they have committed to it. The question is, are they going to rotate through tree this time? Or is it going to be the full rotation through mid or even spawn over to the B site? And the B site has been where V3 is historically finding the most success, 1B.
Yeah, exactly. But one thing that I do want to focus on before anything else is the fact that we did see a lockdown being used from Wheatley, and it completely failing and not doing what it was intended to do, which was clear out the A site, which was the intended site for V3 Dreams. Now they only have 30 seconds left. Wheatley's ultimate has been used, so they can't use it in any future rounds anymore. The lockdown is done. It's wasted. It's gone. It's canceled, okay? It's over with. I sound mad. I promise I'm not. But they only have 15 seconds left to attack, so now they have to converge onto the A site, and it is going to be a hopeless try as two players fall. B is in a 1v5, 1v4, 4v none as she finds her way into the grave.
Yeah, you know, I think Nature's Wrath is actually potentially finding a way to handle V3 right now. And the way to do it is to just force them into a time crunch, right? 2 out of the 3 rounds that we have seen Nature's Wrath take have been taken because of time, right? So, can they take that and play it to their advantage? Can they stall these players out long enough where they are forced to do something they wouldn't want to do and to make mistakes?
That is a very good question. And this is the thing, though. That's what the KJ would have been really, really good for. And I haven't seen a lot from the Rays, nor have I seen a lot from the KO to suggest that they can do that consistently throughout, well, their remaining defensive rounds. As the first one to fall is going to be Crane Train Wheatley getting that kill. And now look at this. B is completely open. And it looks like NW want to play these long angles in C-Link and also in mid where the Chambers is at. And that's exactly where that kill comes from. Beast getting one back, and now we have a 4v4 post-plant.
Great opportunity here for NW to be able to come away with something. We're going to see a Stray coming in 3v3 now. Heeker seeing if they can take out Rays on site. They're able to do that, but they fall very quickly after that, and just barely V is able to win out that fight. Last player standing.
No words. No words. You're going to see a replay of that, but I don't think I can really commentate over what happened. That was just a cluster of a lot of gunfights that happened, and V3 come out on top, V getting the 1v1 clutch. There was a really messy gunfight with Heeker, and I believe that was JCX. I'm not too sure what happened there. Heeker just switches to the classic, tries to right click, left click. I don't even know what type of click, just kill him, and he does. But it's a good round for V3, I guess. Basically off of the skin of their teeth, or whatever the saying is, and it looks to be another Beast side push. Heeker is in the back of Boathouse, but he gets shut down. It's 2 from Beast. Finally gets shut down by Wheatley though, as it looks to be V3. They want to get this plant down in B, but look at some position in mid jungle.
Yeah, I think that Nature's Wrath is now wise to the fact that V3 really feels so much more comfortable on B side, but they've got to keep tabs on Philosophical, or else she is going to do exactly what she just did, and that is have the number of players on your side. Eventually they are going to be dealt with, but both players now in Boathouse. This is maybe not necessarily the best place for them to be. They can be swung on very quickly and easily. We're going to see the Nightfall committed as well. That ultimate from Fade is just devastating. They don't know that the site was being defused. They were able to get the kill, and that's going to be a 4th round to end out the half for Nature's Wrath.
Yep. A good round to use that ultimate in and basically confirm that round for Nature's Wrath. Again, that Fade ultimate being so useful in getting that kill onto the Sova. Also, the Sova popped their Hunter's Fury as well. Didn't get any noticeable kills because not really having the intel on exactly where. Well, they did get intel, but not good enough to the point where they could get a kill because they didn't get a kill with the Hunter's Fury whatsoever. Now we head into the half where both sides are switched. We see V3 Dreams now on their defense, and now we see Nature's Wrath on their attack. And it'll be interesting to see how both of these teams do, what their strats will be, and well, what type of pace is Nature's Wrath willing to set on their attack? Like, are they going to be aggressive? Are they going to be passive? I think they're going to be aggressive.
Yeah, I would imagine at least on the 5th round we're going to see a lot of aggression come out, but a beautiful play there. Logical able to take Beast out of the equation. It's going to be the Prowler, the Blinding Geeker. They're going to have to back out all the way through trees. Gonna send out another to keep them at bay. The plant will come in, but they are down one player. And look at this, Heeker with just a sliver of health too.
Yeah, Heeker has to help. I'm sorry, not Heeker. Yeah, basically, sliver of health. Wax is on 20 HP as well. JCX also falling to Wheatley, and take starting to converge. Nature's Wrath not knowing how to deal with the pressure. Wax is the only one in hell. Right click, he shoots on the Sova, gets swung by the KO, and his life has been brutally ended off an emphatic retake from V3 Dreams. It looked like for a moment Nature's Wrath had that handle despite the men disadvantage. I know that Coyote as well had, Wax Coyote also had a his health very, very low, and he was in hell. He could have just been easily floor banged by V3 Dreams, but it just didn't look like they knew about his location. Otherwise they would have shot him through the floors. Regardless of that fact, it is a devastating round to lose for Nature's Wrath, and it sets V3 Dreams up for a little bye.
Yeah, this round likely will go the way of V3 again, just because of that bye that they're going to have. So, instead, we see Nature's Wrath taking it slow. They're going to default. See if they can pull up some utils, see if they can wait for maybe a mistake on the defense, but they're playing it very cautious. They're playing it very slow. They're not going to push either. So it's going to be on to Nature's Wrath now to start to make a move. Otherwise, they're just going to get waited out and the timer will expire. So they certainly don't want to see that.
No, not at all, because, well, they were able to get the spike down last round, so they get like 200, 300 more credits.
Right.
Yeah, so, like, I mean, that does help their economy, but losing that round doesn't at all. And now we see Heeker get pressured by two other players, not having anybody for trade value at all near him, and he falls with nobody immediately trading him out. Smitty does get the trade onto him. JCX moving into Gardens, missing a couple of shots from the Classic, but does do a little bit of damage, but dies as well as the spike is going to be planted. Last round, we didn't see them hold onto the spike well at all when it was the retake happened, but now Beast pushing up into heaven grabs himself a double kill. It's a triple on the round for the KO, and it's now a 3v2.
Revealing area.
V gonna see if they can use the recon dart to suss out where these attackers are, but unable to find any of them. That's gonna be Wheatley dropping for one. V combines for a second, but V with just a sliver of health again. Wax Coyote seeing if they can come away with something, but they're gonna have the cloud there. Can they get them through it? They are in fact able to. That's the 5th round for Nature's Wrath.
5th round for Nature's Wrath. A 1-for-1 as they're now able to disrupt, the string of rounds that V3 could have been were potentially able to get in a row. But I mean, look at this. It's a nice little Vandal buy from Beast and Naga Jr. Beast, of course, getting the 3K last round. And also, again, that spike does give you, they planted the spike 2 rounds in a row, so that spike does give you at least like 200, 300 creds. And they're able to confirm that for this round. And that's exactly why you see 2 Phantoms, 2 Vandals, and full shields for everybody. They are swimming in money, but V3 Dreams, Bucky, and Pistols not looking too hot this round. It looks to be a force from them.
Yeah, that's a force, but also buying for next round. They're going to be able to save enough credits in order to get that that good buy next round. But severely disrupting the economy is absolutely what Nature's Wrath was able to do, and They're taking it slow once again. I'm liking this this slow push that we're seeing coming out from them right now. Several players committed towards mid, and if they can get mid control, then they'll just have their pick of which side they want to go to, and at least at the moment, it appears to be B is where they've set their sights.
Yeah, the difference I'm seeing here from Recent Dreams compared to what we saw from NW on their defense is that they're rotating when Nature's Wrath are rotating. It's like they're reading perfectly into where they want to attack. Crane does get the first ultimate kill into this round. He finds the trade. There's so many kills, but going into Nature's Wrath favor as despite this hold from V3 Dreams, they're able to just decimate them on this B site. Every single kill goes their way. There was one trade from Wheatley, but other than that, complete silence on the scoreboard from V3 Dreams as they failed to hold off a B push.
Yeah, and not necessarily to, you know, an unexpected result, right? As they had the Vandals, they had the Phantoms. It's even more of a gun advantage than you would typically see, you know, after winning the pistol round, right? So, not surprised to see that, but we're going to see the buy come in this time for both sides. One Spectre, though, for JCX on Nature's Wrath. Philosophical, looking down main.
Cutting their vision.
Gonna throw out a Leer, not gonna catch anybody peeking this time around. Here comes the Haunt. Doesn't find anybody either. Boombot now committed. Door gonna be broken down immediately. They don't want to let the attackers have any chance of holding them back. And realizing this, and perhaps that too many of the defenders have posted up on A side, we are going to see a rotation come through mid. Question is, will it be to A through tree or B site?
Maybe it'll be a split push from Nature's Wrath. It looks like
Ooh.
you have a couple of players, or the only player looking to hang back is going to be Rain, but the full push is going to happen in trees. The null command comes out as well from Reed, but oh my god, B, you monster! Oh, but he does get downed, and Crane does get that kill, and also the revive is going to happen on Beast, but that would have been insane had she gotten that 4th kill B, but the spike is going to be planted. NEA sights JCX immediately slapped from Smitty as they try to swing. Said, don't swing me, or I'm gonna swing or be swung is the rule of the game, and if you swing, then prepare to be swung right back, and he gets slapped. But anyways, regardless of that, Pop Flash not going to catch anybody off guard. The Haunt coming out, Rain going absolutely huge with that, now forcing the 1v1 with Wheatley, getting on a spike, and it's a slap from Wheatley, the new blood, the newcomer, punishing Crane from swinging from A main.
You know, we had talked initially about Wheatley and what our expectations were for them, and at least I said that they were going to be potentially the weaker link coming into this, but that has been anything but the case. Right now, sitting second right now in kills, 14, just behind Philosophical, and that's pretty exceptional considering they're playing a Sentinel. That's not typically a kill line that you see from a Sentinel. So, excellent play coming out from them, and proving to be a bigger thorn in Nature's Wrath side than I think any of us might have anticipated.
Yeah, doing a really good job on on attack they were mainly kind of like the lurker who's lurking through mid, or even on the opposite side of where V3 Dreams were wanting to attack. So if they wanted to attack through A main, you usually saw Wheatley going over in garage or B main and B long and all that stuff, placing down their turrets just so they don't get flanked themselves as they're flanking through garage, etc, etc. And now as they're on the defense, their main job is to just hold sites. That's what you want from a KJ. You want them to hold sites with not only their guns, but also their utility, their turrets, holding angles from far out locations, just alerting to positions, and then the nano swarms being activated when maybe those alarm bots or those turrets go off in tandem. And when those nano swarms are activated, that does a lot of damage to the attackers. It forces them back, and maybe forces them back into the gun sights of people who are waiting for them on the flank, etc, etc. But again, like you said, Wheatley doing a very good job here, but also Slop just having, her average game, 18 kills, 11 deaths. She has her Empress ready this round. Wheatley does have the lockdown available to her, or to them as well, as it looks to be another B push.
Gonna be a pretty fast and hard push on the B as well. Wheatley gonna be removed from the equation quickly by Beast. Smitty now starting to push in through Market. through the smokes. They're not going to see anybody there just yet, as everybody is still back on site. 2 now in boathouse.
Flashbang.
The other 2 controlling these flanks. It's going to be Crane Train now on lane. Taking down 1 is Wax Coyote.
Face your fear!
3 members left. We're going to see Nightfall committed as well. Huge ultimate. That's going to illuminate where everyone is, and they very quickly deal with them.
Whoa. Nice usage of the Nightfall, but regardless of that, they had a pretty good hold of the B site. From the moment they got onto the site, they removed the Wheatley, then got onto the site to plant the spike. And also, if you didn't notice in that round, there was a flank through mid happening from Naga Jr. just in case V3 Dreams were retaking the site. Naga would have just been there to help on the flank, because V3 Dreams at that moment when you're retaking site, you wouldn't, even though you expect the flank, you normally wouldn't, especially
You want to play?
not in that
Let's
type of situation
play.
where teams are playing post plant. But I like the role that Naga Jr. is playing. He's playing what we did last round, and that's hanging around the opposite side of the map from their team and looking to get like maybe some little exit frags from players rotating.
Oh my gosh, a big showstopper coming out from JCX. They're able to swing and get Wheatley as well, opening up B site completely for them. All 3 of the other defenders in either mid or A. Spike gets planted very, very quickly, and now this retake going to be very difficult. Crane Train throws out a seize, not going to capture anybody this time around. Naga Jr. with the tour de force, unable to get the pick onto Smitty. Now it's just Naga. Now it's just going to be Smitty left on the defensive side. But they're going to be illuminated. They know exactly where they are. The knife telling them that they're still there. Smitty going to be good for 1. Wax Coyote just holding this anger, and maybe Smitty just wanting to save the throat out.
What?
There, Molly. Yeah, this is just going to be a save now for the remaining player, KO.
Yeah, Smitty. Okay, maybe not.
Oh no!
Oh my god, you jinxed it.
I did. Caster curse. Sorry about that.
But no, like, what a good double entry that was from JCX. Initially entering with the soul stopper, then slapping the proceeding to slap the next player with the gun, clearing up that B site so that, well, Nature's Wrath, they got an easy plant. V3 Dreams, they haven't done that well on the retakes. And I mean, like I said, it's pretty hard to play retakes on Ascent. You normally don't want to do it. And unfortunately for, well, this round, they are going to be forced buying, well, to save up for the next round. And they have 4 ultimates available as well, so maybe they'll spread them out in the upcoming rounds, or maybe they'll use them all in this one round here.
Curious to see what is going to be the case. Ideally, they're going to hope to just only use as many as they need to take this win right here. The KG ultimate could be pretty important, but Beast is going to make sure that's not on the table. Phil Slothical now trying to hold down A site with Omen. But push and the spike likely coming through mid, and I think we're going to see B get pressured again. V3 with just 7 HP. They're able to take out Beast with a beautiful shot from the Sheriff.
Oh, that's the KO down, so no more flashes for NW. KJ would have been a deciding factor in this round had the lockdown been used, maybe forced these the NW players away from whichever site they were attacking from. But look at this, they're all on the A site, so maybe we'll see Heeker use their ultimate to rotate onto the A site, or to use their teleporter to teleport onto the A site. But regardless of that, the spike is going to be planted. The paranoia going out on Heaven, even though nobody is there. Sorry, that's not the paranoia, that is a dark cloud. Oopsies, my icons got mixed up. But this is probably going to be the post plant being played still from NW. Two players getting suppressed, so that is a lot of information gained for Smitty. They know that 2 players are in hell, but he gets shut down, activating the null command. Sloth does get 1 regardless of that. Smitty's still down, so they can revive them at any point, but they're probably not going to do that. The last player, well, he rendezvoused on out of there to get into A main. It's not Naga Jr. on the chamber. 4 players pushing him. 3 players pushing him. The other defusing, and it is a thrifty round off of a force buy. I don't even think they were planning to win that round. Regardless, they do, and they also take the weapons. They rob the weapons off of the body of the NW players.
And look at that. 2 ultimates were expended that last round from V3. They were able to come away with a round win. So the value was there. They got what they needed to out of them. But now we've got the null command online for the attacking squad. So question is, who are they going to be using it this time around? Do they want to expend that? Especially considering nobody else is close in ult percentage from the attacking squad. They're going to have to win at least some of these next few rounds without the use of any of their ultimates. Naga Jr. going to be peak. Phil Slothigal able to take that one. Now, that Lurk doesn't have to be worried about the rest of the players through mid and on B. Beast keeping tabs on spawn, making sure nobody is cheekily rotated through. B3 holding down lane as well. It's going to be philosophical good for another one. They're slowly picking away at Nature's Wrath. JC finding one to help even the score. Wax Coyote just does that. But it's going to be one last player remaining, just Beast. And they're going to be hit with the paranoia. The swing comes out and Smitty takes care of the rest.
Now, how good is they're on map point, and it is on Nature's Wrath's map pick as well. And this is, well, statistically, this is their best map. This is the only map that they've won across their last 2 games. Of course, the one game that they did play was against Hunters Association, where they had to forfeit a map, so we didn't get to see another map from them. But this is the only map that they've won throughout the 2 games that they played. So that's about like 4 maps, or 5 maps actually, if I'm being correct. But regardless of that, the Beast is going to use his ultimate this round as they prep for an Beast site rushes. Is what you use the null command for. You use them for rushes, and it makes these players powerless. They can't use their abilities, but they can use their guns.
Wow.
V gets 3 or 2, I'm sorry, but she does fall. She could have potentially gotten herself a 3rd, and now we can see the spike being planted from people. Look, wait. Okay, no, it is going to be not far. I thought it was going to be a player, but it isn't. And now V3 Dreams are going to have to play for retake.
Icarus knows. They know that Crane Train is there. They pointed them out. They see the paranoia and dark cover coming out as well. Those slopical wings. They pop the Empress as well. This could be bad, but they get flashed. Beautiful play there from Beast. They're going to be able to suppress one of the players as well. Just one player remaining now. It's going to be Smitty. Black Coyote's going to be able to swing on one. They've got just 7 health left. Can they get the next? That's going to be a knife. No, they can't. But is there enough time to defuse? This is going to be a very close one. I think it will, in fact, go the way of the attackers. What a round. What a round.
Point 54 seconds. He was this close. He was very close to getting that. And now we see it's not going to be a timeout from V3 Dreams. It's going to be a timeout from NW, because despite them winning that round was way too close. It came off of some heroics from Coyote in Boathouse, getting one of those kills, almost getting the second, and he had to play his cards right. He got the player who was initially putting himself on a spike. Just think about if that spike were down to half. If that spike were down to half and he didn't shoot him in time, that round would have been lost to NW, and their dreams would have been crushed on ascent. But he was able to waste enough of that time, and V3 Dreams, they didn't have enough to work with, but now they're gonna have the opportunity to calm down a little bit, because that round was really, really hectic.
It really, really was. But one of the things that I want to point out that was really good for the attacking squad is the fact that they were able to, in fact, build up one ultimate, and they are within spitting distance of their second one now. JCX has just 2 more ult points to get before they've got that showstopper back. So this could be very, very good for Nature's Wrath.
Yeah, indeed. So, and Wheatley still has his lockdown, still has their lockdown available as well. And when they will pop it, well, they are in match point. So, will they pop it now just to confirm this map win for them, or do they think it's that important to use it in the first place? Will they use it for future rounds? We don't know because the push is happening on A. The Killjoy isn't even on the A side. So, even if they wanted to use their lockdown, well, why the hell would you use it on the opposite side? You have to get your ass back over on the A, and he's not even there. But a lot of shots are going either team's ways, but so many kills are going into V3's favor. Philo, Heeker getting one, Beast getting a trade, and could that be a hopeless trade, Jungle?
It might have been. Smitty now pushing up far through Catwalk. They're going to see Naga in just a second, but they're taken out. That's going to even up the kill feed, even up the score line. Now, several of the members being pulled off of A side, but Heeker knows now that Beast and several of the other players, they likely want to push out onto A. We've got KJ in heaven, though. This could be where the lockdown comes out. In fact, it is. That's going to be committed now right as the spike is planted. They weren't able to prevent the plant, but they're going to be able to have a much easier time now taking site. It's going to be down to just one player left for each squad. Naga Jr. has 13 HP. It's going to be Wheatley, the new player on this squad. Will they be the hero that they need? They put out the turret. If they get hit by the turret, they're going to be taken out of the equation, but it doesn't matter. They still will be. The defuse will come in. V3 will take the map.
Clutch.
What more could you ask
Defenders
from
my genius doesn't stop
what
in the
more
lab.
could you ask from your rookie? Getting a 3K, clutching up that 1v1 situation, and doing a damn good job on the KJ as well.
Yeah, great entrance to the series and to the tournament overall for Wheatley. And I think that map really a tale of the attacking halves for both teams. 1B, but V3 is just a little bit stronger.
That they were, and you know what? I'm gonna pat myself on the back here a little bit, because if I do remember correctly, my score prediction was 13-9. Now, I will call myself out though in the same breath, because I did say that this was going to go the way of nature's wrath. So I'll take that 50-50. I get half credit. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Was fond memories of university remind me. P's get degrees. You only need to get 50% to pass, so that's good enough. But back to that particular map, the attacking side, especially from V3, was just uber strong, and really that's what got them there in the end. Even though 1B, we saw in the second half that Nature's Wrath's attack almost as good.
Yeah, both teams having really good attacks, like you've detailed. There were a lot of rounds where, again, for me, there were a lot of rounds for Nature's Wrath where I felt like their site presence was a bit weak. And again, this isn't the smallest map. The sites aren't the easiest to defend at time. You can't have every single player on every single site, because again, they're on separate sides of the map. But I would expect their site presence to be a little bit better than that. It felt like a lot of the times, especially mainly on their B site pushes or their B site holds, as it was for V3 Dreams, that, well, I'm gonna just say for both teams, it felt like their B site holds were probably the weakest out of the A site and the B site. And you wouldn't normally expect that on a map that a lot of people would consider to be more defender sided. But one thing that I really do want to point out, and that I was really impressed by, while Crane doesn't have the most impressive stat line, I was really, really impressed by the Fade play. And it could be because, well, Fade is a new agent. But and you're kind of starstruck a little bit. Everybody's really starstruck with her. Everybody loves her and all that crap. But I was really, really impressed by his Fade play, especially with the Prowlers and with the Haunts.
Yeah, and another thing I think that you always have to keep in mind is that it's going to be the duelists typically who are going to be leading in the score line. Now, not necessarily the case here, as Beast was the top fragger for Nature's Wrath, but those initiates a lot of times, they're not going to be the ones getting the kills, but they're going to be the ones getting the information, right? And that's, I think, so important, right? For these teams, right? Getting that information. I mean, take a look at Sova, right? The other information gathering player. also low in the scoreline. What that says to me is that honestly, they're playing these agents the way they needed to be played, right? They're let's compare for a moment Sova and KO, right, or Fade and KO. I think you can put them both there, right? And then actually Breach as well. Let's just draw a line right now between the initiators, because I think there is a substantial difference between them. Two of them are information gathering, two of them are more entry based, a little bit closer to a duelist, right? And so these information gathering agents, they want to stay alive longer into rounds, because the more that they can stay alive, the more information their teams can get, right? Whereas these more entry based initiators, such as Breach and KO, they're going to be the ones responsible for getting you onto site, right? But a lot of times that means they're going to be the first in the firing lane as well. So I think, yeah, absolutely, Crane Train did a phenomenal job on Fade. Love to see the new agent getting played.
And we may yet get another chance to see it. Next map up will be Breeze, where information is critical, given how big the map is and how long rotations take. But we'll be taking a short break before we get there. Don't go away. Welcome back, friends, to the Victoris Rivals Series presented by Victoris Esports. Currently, V3 is one map up in their series against Nature's Wrath, but we're going to Breeze, big, wide open spaces, lovely scenic destination, and we're hoping that can ease Nature's Wrath back into it and help them relax and keep the series going to a third map. Juggle God, it was an interesting first map, but we're going to see some changes here. You're making a point before the break about initiators and how important they are, especially later on to the round. Breeze, wide open spaces, information absolutely crucial, especially given the fact that rotations here are quite a long time. So you often have to make decisions early about where you need to be.
You're absolutely right, and those information gathering initiators, I think, become even more important. However, I'm going to put an asterisk next to that because I think Silva is the pick here. I don't think Fade is the pick, and I'll explain why. That recon bolt can be fired just about as far as you want, and Breeze is an expansive map. So Fade works much closer in close quarters in these tighter maps, and so if I see a Fade pick coming out again, I'm gonna have to be a little critical of it. I think here on Breeze. Now, this is I am not necessarily the biggest brain in the business, and certainly not even here on the desk. So, if you all have a differing opinion, please let me know because I could be completely off my mark there. But that's at least what I'm thinking as we head into Breeze.
1B, do you think maybe we could see a Fade in combination with Initiator? Well, we've got 5 Initiators in now. Do you think that's a possibility for these teams, or is that just me really wanting to see Sky being played today?
I most definitely like Fade is again, like I feel like I've compared her to Sova a lot of times, or not a lot, but like I do compare her to Sova a little bit. She's really good on big open maps like Breeze or even like Haven or even like Ascent. We saw her use really, really well on Ascent. But do I think she's better on Breeze than Sova? And do I think that she will be picked over Sova on Breeze? No, because he's a little bit more effective with his recon darts. He can clear a lot of spaces with his shock darts. And again, like Juggle said, you can shoot them for like a lot from a better range. They have a better range than what Fade has with her Haunt and Prowlers. What I am going to expect, and it's not really on the initiator side. I talked about this last week with V3 Dreams and Goofy Goblins when they played on Breeze as well. Is I'm expecting a Chambers pick. His tour de force is deadly on this map because this map long range gunfights. You will not run out of long range gunfights on this map. It's a huge map, open space. We've said it so many times. It has a lot of depth to it. So Chambers is a must pick agent on this map.
We're just about ready to find out if Chamber will be picked. Agent Select is launching in a couple of seconds, and I feel like you might be right. We will be likely seeing Chamber. We saw it last week. This is what the first incident of Sloth, and here we are. Agent Select ready to go. Let's see what they're going to pick.
Now, one thing that I will say leading into this is that if I were playing in this match and we were headed to Breeze and Split next, I would be furious. These are two of the hardest maps, I think, at least for me to play in the game. I have a tremendous difficulty on them, so I'm going to be giving extra kudos, extra congratulations to whoever comes away with the victory here. Now, let's take a moment to talk about the controllers, because right now we're seeing both of them going ahead and picking Viper, which is really, I think, exactly what you want to do here on Breeze because of the large nature and the expansiveness of it. That wall is it's almost indispensable. You just about have to play it. Now, Crane Train going to be sticking with a Fade, it appears. So I'm going to be really curious to see how this plays out in comparison to V's Silva.
Yeah, another thing that Temporal mentioned that I liked as well was the Sky pick too. She's really, really good on this map, especially when you're pushing into areas such as elbows. Her blinds are chef's kiss, and I feel like she'll be really
Yeah.
effective for the side of V3 Dreams. And like you said, when it comes to the controller picks, it's either Astra or you want to pick a Viper, and it's mainly due to the fact that both of them have walls that are just indispensable on this map. This is a big map, and those walls cover so much ground, and they can cut off so many angles, they can cut off lines of sights, etc, depending on where you want to push. Like, say for example, A main, and you want to push into pyramids, you can set up a the usual wall that you will see, which I'm pretty sure is going to be set up from Heeker, is going to be a diagonal wall that cuts off the more right pyramid, and it's just gonna cut off a lot of lines of sight, starting like from the lower parts of the A site.
Yeah, that is you know, it's the default wall, I think you would say, for Viper on this map. It's so powerful. Cutting off those long sight lines, making it so much easier to push into sight. KO gonna throw out the knife initially to see if they can get a little info, but nobody gonna be close enough to be affected by it this time, despite the push coming out on A. See Viper dropping back to the wall. It's gonna be committed now. Beast looking to throw out their molly as well, as there's a smoke orb keeping the opposing team from wanting to push out onto site just yet. They will push on, though, further. It's going to be Beast coming in first. They're going to be taken out. Now, fight breaking out in halls as well. We see Sky going down very low. Heeker planting.
Spike planted.
Going to be able to get it off. Naga Jr. now, seeing if they can duel with Wheatley in halls. Going to peek around this corner. Who's going to get first sight? It's going to be Naga. The evening up the score line now. Smitty forced to rendezvous away with just a sliver of their health in tow. Probably going to be committed to see if they can get some information, but 2 picks right around Pyramid. It's going to signal the start of the defuse, but Naga Jr. going to be good for a kill. Now it's just Smitty waiting to see if they can pick off Naga. Naga, I don't know if they have time left to defuse. Going to be a photo finish. If they do, they're going to go for it. Smitty now peeking around the corner, and they find the top of their head. They see just a sliver of them. They can't make the angle work, though, and the defense will take the round.
No. No, that is unfortunate though from Smitty, just unfortunately missing out on the angle. I wondered, actually, I think they ran out of ammo on the Headhunter, because I was curious as to why they switched off onto the Classic anyway, seeing as you do have a sight on the Headhunter and it is zoomed in, and it'll give you a better chance at hitting those type of shots regardless. It is a good round, or a free round from NW that, well, they probably should have won off of the backs of Smitty. And one thing that I'm surprised about seeing, Sloth is on Jet.
Oh yeah, you're right. Look at that. Again, proving me wrong. Showing that they do, in fact, have this agent in their pocket. Love to see it. Now, something that I think is interesting is on the side of Nature's Wrath, no chamber. And in addition, a Cypher. Not a typical pick, I don't think.
Raze as well on Breeze. I don't think I've ever seen Raze on Breeze before. Gunfight's gonna happen through mid, and Crane is gonna be the first one to get the first pick into this round. But again, Raze on Breeze. I'm a bit confused about this pick, because, you know, she doesn't. This is a big, wide open map. Raze doesn't do well in big, wide open maps, especially with big, wide open spaces such as Breeze. There aren't a lot of tight corners on this map. Smitty does get the trade, and then you see an even man count between both teams too. But again, I'm not too sure about these agents in debut.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I think that on paper, right? On paper, V3 wins this.
30 seconds left.
Because of these agent picks. And something else that says to me, Plumby, is that Nature's Wrath is really valuing their comfort picks, right? That's what I'm seeing coming out from them. So, to me, they've got these agents, they play them exceptionally well, and they're going to be leaning on that fact to carry them through this map. JCX going to be able to find one with the zoomed, actually, Wax Coyote able to find one with the Spectre. Heeker takes down one as well, trading out. JCX looking for a head with a Marshall. Hasn't been able to find anything just yet. They're going to need to start to move quickly. Naga Jr. making their way through cave. They found Heeker looking the other direction. Now the defense is on their last toes. And it's going to be, or rather the attackers on their final toes, is going to be Naga with the defuse.
V3 Dreams not having the rub of the green when it comes to playing the post plant at all. These retakes have come in quick succession, 2 round successions to be exact for in debut as they look to build their economy. Well, in this round as well as they head on to their bonus. Well, this is their bonus. They're looking to build up their economy for their next round. For V3 Dreams, though, they are going to be full buying, full shields, full vandals, and they're going to look to. This is a must-win round for them. Not only when it comes to the scoreboard, but also when it comes to their economy. Because if they lose this round, then their economy is kind of a bit screwed for the next.
Where are you?
Spike's still hanging out in spawn. We're gonna see the haunt committed, not finding anything. However, spy cam certainly is. Heeker gonna have to remove that. No push being made. At least nothing definitive just yet. We're gonna see Wheatley now. Using the guiding light to try and gain a little bit of room. They've got more purchase onto point now. Toxic Cloud committed. See if they can keep others from moving out. One player down, though, from this defending side already. Now going to be even up in the scoreline as Beast finds Smitty with the partial. Philosophical forced to dash out. Claims another. That's going to be a quick pick.
Spike down.
Spike is now down for the attackers. Defense looking a little bit better here at the moment.
Scanning ahead.
Defense throwing out a recon bolt. Now they're... Last player standing, they're not going to be able to come away with it. The defense takes another round.
3 rounds in a row, and that is the bonus one for Nature's Wrath, as I keep forgetting their names. This is a surprising couple of rounds from the V3. Kind of look like a shell. It's only been 3 rounds played, yes. It's 3 rounds to zip, though, and V3 look like a shell of their former selves. What's happening on Breeze is kind of weird right now because, again, it's 3 rounds in a row. They do have an ultimate available from Heeker. That's the Viper's Pit, but they are going to be on a force this round because they have to build up their economy. Like I said in that last round, they're going to be screwed in this round if they lose that last one. And look at that, they're screwed. And if they proceed to lose this one, well, they'll be able to get another bonus to be able to full buy next round.
Yeah, this is going from bad to worse, I think, for V3 right now. That was one of the phrases that I think applies really, really well to Valorant is that you have to win the rounds you're supposed to win. And right now, V3 is not doing that. It's going to be a 4-3-V3 now against the attacking squad. They're going to be down 1 player now, evening things up. Seeker will be moving around after the knife reveals their location and suppresses them. Attackers, again, kind of on their last leg. Seeker gonna be able to get the peek on the Coyote, but Coyote is faster on the draw. Now it's just down to V again. How much is she gonna be able to do here?
30 seconds left.
With the amount of space that the attackers have to work with on Breeze is kind of like considered to be, or a lot of people would think that it'd be like geared more towards the attacker because that's a lot of space that the defense has to cover. Right now, V3 just aren't taking advantage of the space that they're given.
10 seconds left.
And it's not only showing when they're trying to attack a site like they are in this round, or when they're trying to take space, or when they're trying to take gunfights, because, I mean, they're at a gun disadvantage. Nobody really expected them to win this round. They could have, yes, but they didn't. And I don't know if V is going to be able to save this gun. No. They're not. And it's unfortunate, but again, they're not really taking advantage of the space that they're being given, not only when they're trying to attack a specific site, but also when they're playing the post plant. It just looks a bit muddled. It doesn't look like, it doesn't look like the V3V that's the player, but the V3 Dreams that we saw last week on Breeze against Goofy Goblins, who they beat on this map. They beat them on this map to win the whole series and get the 3 points so that they could take the first place spot. And now we're going to see a timeout for V3 Dreams, and rightly so, because this is getting out of hand and they need to put a stop to those momentum from Nature's Wrath.
Yeah, they certainly do. Now, one thing that I think is really fascinating is that they've actually got the advantage right now in the ult department. So I think this is, doubly a well-timed timeout, because they're going to be able to not only say like, okay, what's going on, let's fix these things, but they're also going to be able to say like, aha, here's how we're going to use our ultimates in this round. Here's how we're going to make sure we don't overspend, right? And use all 4 of them here.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's gonna be the focus. MIDI has the tour de force online. I was wondering maybe if he was going to buy this round, but he does. He does buy a Vandal instead of using his tour de force this round. This is a must-win round for V3 Dreams, by the way, so that's why I was a bit confused as to why he bought the Vandal. I wonder if he is gonna pop the tour de force. Sloth does have
Get
the
out of
Blaze
my
Storms
way.
available, and the Hunter's Fury obviously won't be popped until maybe when they're in a post-plant
I'll find you.
situation, and they need to hold off the defenders and waste as much time that the spike gives them as possible, right? And the same thing goes for the Viper's Pit. It like slows down retakes. It, discourages defenders and discourages attackers from attacking the spike or attacking the site, etc., etc. So it'll be interesting to see from V3 Dreams if they're going to pop their ultimates this round. We do see an ultimate used for Sloth though. Let's see if she can get a kill. She dashes, up drifts, and first pick into this round onto Beast, and there goes the follow up from Heeker. Beast site is clear, Viper's Pit is used, and now the spike is going to be planted.
This was played beautifully, I think, by V3. They absolutely needed to win this round, and they're headed in that direction post haste. JCX is going to see if they can find Wheatley, but no, they're unable to. It is going to be Wax Coyote who does eventually find them. Is going to be good for 1 kill. Now it's just Viper who has been forced to come out of their pit. Philosophical looking for them. Briefly gets stunned by that Molly, causing a little bit of damage, but you're gonna have to break into this now. Heeker looking for whatever they can do. They find the kill, and they will pick up their first round on Breeze.
Yeah, a good, like you said, a beautiful execution onto the B site. And you know what? I talked about one toxic screen wall by the A site, but I didn't talk about the toxic screen that also covers the visions from McDonald and also the defender side of the archways. And not only was that influential to that round, but also Sloth doing what she does best, and that's getting the entry kills. That's being the entry fragger. That's being the top duelist or your top chamber players. If you consider Chambers a duelist, then good on you. But he is a sentinel. He's listed as a sentinel for a reason. But yeah, doing what she does best, getting that entry kill, the follow up coming in from Heeker, the Viper's Pit being used, and then so many other follow up kills from V3 Dreams. And that's the V3 Dreams that we saw on Ascent and that we saw last week on Breeze, where they were able to claw out a 13-9 win against Goofy Goblins.
Push coming in, potentially to A. Viper's Wall now committed onto site. Mini fires a warning shot. Not gonna find a hit this time. JC throwing in the paint shells, but the recon bolt going to give some information on where they are, just behind that leftmost pyramid. Gunfight freaking out now. B's gonna be getting the better of Philosophical this time, so the defense looking pretty good at the moment. Heeker going to be suppressed. Wheatley opting to drop their gun for a different one. And now this push finding itself happening very, very slowly.
30 seconds
and Naga
left.
Jr. taking advantage of that fact. We need to see a push coming out soon from this squad. Otherwise, it's going to be all over for them before they even get a chance to plant. Heeker will, in fact, get that down behind their wall, but they're going to be picked out by JCX. Here comes the Nightfall as well. I don't think it's going to catch anybody this time, but that's going to give them a lot of information. But he finds a kill. There's a trade coming in now via JC. Brain Train looks to get the defuse, but here comes V with the Hunter's Fury, but I don't think they were on the mark this time, and the defense takes another round.
Might lose their Vandal here. Okay, no, they're safe. But I like the hair on the back of their necks. They're very, very safe, actually. So They get to keep their weapon, but a 5-1 deficit, they do suffer. And you know what is crazy about that last round? Smitty bought an operator. And again, you have the tour de force ready. You don't really need to do that with your credits. You don't need to buy an operator. The tour de force is basically an operator, but he's
It's
not
a better operator.
It's a better operator. You're correct. And he's not going to use it. And I don't know if he will use it this round. He's bought a banner again. And he is not going to use it this round, which is totally fine. If you don't like the tour de force, that's great. But I mean, I've never met a chamber player who doesn't like the tour de force. Regardless of that fact, like you said, V2 Dream's just moving way too slow. And I hope that they don't do it in this round. And I hope it isn't going to be the boon of their existence for future rounds.
Yeah, I mean, so far it's looking to be that way, right? It's good to play slow, but at some point, there can be too much of a good thing, right? And I think that's what we're seeing here. Nice flash coming out. Philosophical able to combine for the kill right there and push out onto site. They're starting to gain control over it. Naga Jr. has to use the cyber cage to try and keep some kind of control, and that's able to. As Beast gets a couple of kills, we're going to see the Showstopper 2 come out to prevent further aggression. And I'm going to tell you, this motley crew of agents that has been assembled for Nature's Wrath is working out phenomenally well on Breeze.
30 seconds left.
Motley crew, that is correct. Again, like I said, I'm very surprised by the Raze pick, but that's not even what's working right now. It's the guns. It's quite literally the guns from Nature's Wrath that are just firing, and V3 Dreams are stunned at the moment. He is in a 1v2. The operator's being used against her.
10 seconds left.
She hasn't found quite yet. She is gonna spot out one. B still in the back of B, but B spotting out the initial player, getting into a gunfight, playing Ring Around the Rosie. They were twirling with each other. I saw that, and she does die. But again, it feels like in that round, it just felt like V3 Dreams were kind of defeated from the get-go, moving again a little bit too slowly, and that's what happened in the previous round before that, and it's happened again now. Smitty not going to buy a gun this round, going to opt to use the tour de force. So hopefully, fingers crossed, they don't use the classic and they actually use the tour de force this round. I'm joking. I know they will. And there you go. It is popped. So let's see what this entails for this round. Also, Wheatley having the Seekers available, so maybe it could be useful for when they're trying to execute onto a specific site. What I'm thinking of is for the Seekers, it might be more effective to use them on the B site, but there's so much utility on the B side that I'm actually scared looking at the amount of utility that I'm seeing on the map right now.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Let's see the Silva Dart come in. Wax Coyote deals with it post haste. Not going to get too much information. Firepost Wall has been committed B, but that was just a fake. That was a fake. As so many of the players on A side now, they've got control of it, but you got to be able to take one out of the equation. These combined for another. Now it's just 2 players remaining for both squads. Beaker will get the plant down. Is this tour de force be able to make an impact? It does again. That's 3 kills already for Smitty. Now it's just Smitty. Or rather, it's just gonna be Beast with an operator, seeing if they can hold back this aggression. Beautiful shot from Smitty for a 4th kill.
I was very confused by that. You know what? I thought Smitty was looking at something else, or he was using something else for some reason, because his head was down, and so the animation confused me. Regardless of that fact, it is a quad kill from Smitty. So using the tour de force, like we said, you listen to casters because we're big brains, and he used the tour de force, which is the better operator, and he gets a 4K from it. So if you listen to your fellow casters, you will get a 4K with the tour de force. Regardless of that fact, what I did like about the retake, despite Nature's Wrath losing that round, what I did like about the retake is Beast using his fragment mines where Smitty was at to kind of force him back again and force him back against the wooden doorways to buy his teammates time to rotate around pyramids in order to challenge the Viper. Yes, he did lose, but I like the usage of the utility there, and the idea was there. But again, a good round from Smitty, and I really like the way he kind of swaggered on with those kills.
right? He really did. And you know, if there's one player I feel like in this game that has swagger, it's Chamber, right? Just the character design and everything. He's got swag. We're gonna see the toxic wall committed onto A once again. Beginning to clear sight. Beaker. Gonna have to try and plant, despite the cyber cage being there. Naga gonna push through, but gets taken out by Philosophical. Excellent cover there from their teammate. Spike will get planted on the side of Pyramid now. Heeker warming up their thighs, making sure they can still crouch in case they need to after getting a final kill. Great sight control right now from the attacking squad. The only thing they don't have a handle on is gonna be CT.
Whoa!
JX with a nice pick via the Marshall, but Spike is starting to heat up. It's starting to maneuver. It's starting to beep a little bit faster, signaling the end of the round is incoming. Gonna have to see a play coming out from the defense here. Gonna be Heeker taking one out. The trade is there, but the Spike will explode.
Spike will explode, and for Wax, you know, they do get to pick up a gun. It was one of the Vandals off of the, well, another, not a Vandal, but an Operator. They had a Vandal in hand, and then they decided to pick up the Operator from Smitty, and so that's why they have it in this round. You don't have to pay the 4,700 credit tax that you have to pay when you're in the buy phase. Instead, they pick it up off of the bodies of their enemies, and I mean, that's the best type of Operator you get. You get it for free.
Oh yeah,
You steal it. You know, you steal it.
It's a huge economic boon, huge boon for your economy if you're able to take that out of the hands of your opponent. Timeout, yeah, coming in from the defense, and they're doing pretty well right here, but I think they want to make sure that they can keep this momentum, hence the timeout. They've also got 3 ultimates ready to go, so, you know, getting a plan for how you're going to use those, also a pretty good idea.
Yes, also, I believe that's been 2 rounds in a row as well from V3 Dreams. So for Nature's Wrath, they're looking to not only extend their lead, but keep it as far away from V3 Dreams as possible, because maybe they sense a comeback coming. That last round was also a really weird buy for them. This round is going to be a full buy for them, so because they have the credits to do so. Smitty having to waste 4,700 creds in order to buy an Operator that he just got robbed off of him. He's gonna be so mad if Beast kills him with it. But one good thing from both teams is the fact that we see 3 ultimates on the side of Nature's Wrath. The Viper's Pit being one of them, as well as the Null Command. You do have the Neural Theft as well. And then for the side of V3 Dreams, Wheatley and Heeker, the Viper's Pit and the Seekers. So maybe what happens if we see a double Viper's Pit stacked on each other? I've seen that happen before, and it's one of the dumbest things that I've seen in Valorant. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Why is that? I'm curious to get your opinion on that as well.
I don't know what it is. It's just, I've seen them stack it on top of each other, and then it's just, everything is a hot mess after that. Gunfights, that one wasn't a hot mess. It's a nice shot from B, and it happens onto Beast, and it removes his friends, their friends, or her friends' Operator out of the hands of Beast. See that snake bite going to affect JCX, pushing him back near their own spawn. As V3 Dreams, they get the early man advantage.
Yeah, they're gonna look to see if they can push this even further, but Wax Coyote gonna be good for a kill in their Viper's Pit. Such a dangerous place to try and push. We're gonna see a second one committed now right beside the first. JC gonna throw in a boombot to see if they can maybe suss out where this Viper is standing, but able to avoid it pretty effectively as well. Now we're gonna see one Viper pushing into the other's Toxic Pit. That's going to not lead to anything too good for them. One player left on the attacking squad, and the defense will get the defuse.
Interesting take as well from mid. Not going for your usual B main take into the B site itself. They decided to go from McDonald's into the B site. using the Viper's pit right next to the one that it was already established from the defense. A good retake, though, from Nature's Wrath at the end of the day. Despite that Viper's pit being up, they snipped out that Viper pretty quickly, and so the Viper's pit went down, and then the whole stack of the V3 Dreams dominoes went a-falling. And so now we're in this next round, and for V3 Dreams, well, that last round was a round to not lose for them because they are stuck really with a really weird looking economy, having to force barring philosophical using her Vandal or buying up a Vandal, but a force nonetheless to build up their economy for the next round.
The 2 ultimates online for the defending squad. Nature's Wrath. That Neural Theft could be absolutely devastating, too, if they're able to get a pick and use it just to reveal where everybody is. Viper's Wall going to go up on a site, push coming out soon, but I don't know if you caught the util that Naga Jr. placed. It could put a damper on this push. Ooh, it's going to be spotted out by Philosophical, but not all of it is going to be. They are still going to be having that Cyber Cage useful, oh, that is, until they're taken out of the fight. So, no Neural Theft coming in either. Nice push coming out on the site. Question is, can they hold it? Brain Train would like to say no, and so does their Vandal. Here comes the Nightfall as well. That's definitely going to be tremendous. Going to be a pick as well onto Heeker. They don't get out of dodge as quick as they needed to. Wax Coyote finds another Prowler, going to briefly blind D3. They're not going to be able to take the shots, but the shots from Wax Coyote don't land. It's all right because Brain Train there is there to finish it up, and we've got an 8-3 score line. This is looking bad for V3.
Yeah, it's looking bad for V3 as well. I mean, that was a round that I felt like they were probably destined to lose from the get-go. It was kind of close to begin with. Heeker was one of the players, one of the 4 players on the V3 Dreams roster, because Sloth did have a Vandal to start off that round, where they picked up a Vandal, they got into a gunfight, lost it, and then you have 2 other players, barring Sloth, who don't have a gun really. They only have the classic in hand, and you know, we saw that little insult with in debut where they decided to switch to the classics as well with one of them because Crane was the last one to get that kill with the Vandal. But regardless of that, it was a really rough round as well because they had the post plant positionings. We saw Heeker pick up a gun as well, and they just lost out on the gunfight. I felt like if Heeker hadn't lost that gunfight, had they won it, that round would have been V3's, but it wasn't. And unfortunately for them, or well, fortunately, they do get enough credits to full buy this round, and so maybe they can take it. And also, Sloth does have her Blade Storms ready, but I mean, look at how many ultimates are available for V3 Dreams. One of them being used, Beast using the Null command, and then also JCX having the Showstopper. But the first one to fall is going to be JCX, so that Showstopper is no more.
They're able to trade it out for Wheatley, though. Naga Jr. finding that one. They're going to be able to use their Neural Theft, and now they're going to be wise to the fact that the push is coming out very quickly onto B. We're going to see all of the defenders start to rotate their post-haste. It's going to be Cypher who gets there first over near Arches, taking Philosophical out, who had the Blade Storm ready to go as well. So, huge pickup for the defending squad. 3v3 right now. Naga finds a third. Is there an ace in the works here? They're going to peek around this other corner. Heeker on Spike, going to be alerted as to where they are. Naga picks up their fourth. Now it's just Chamber left in this window up here. Naga peeks for another. Wax Coyote steals the ace. But you know what? They get the round, and they're going to be happy about that regardless.
Oh, no. That does not look good as well for V3 Dreams, not only on the scoreboard, but again, their economy is just real. Oh, no, sorry, we're going to be switching sides. I cannot count. Oh, my Lord. I was like, had they got, you know what? Screw it. I'm
It's
not
all good.
about it. Lord.
It's all good, 1B.
No, it's not. I was so confused. I was like, why is everybody on pistols? What's going on? They sit down.
Well, hold on.
I just can't count. That's it. You know, I just can't count.
Let me tell you a quick story from one of my other casts. All right, I'm gonna try and make this short, but I was I was casting, and it was a pistol round, and I said, this is looking really bad, especially because nobody has their ults. And someone was like, well, yeah, of course, because they don't have, it's a pistol round. So right after that, I made another just embarrassing call. So don't worry about it. You are good, Wumby. We're going to see the attack coming out on the A side. A very different Viper's wall coming out that leaves a lot of exposure right from the high ground. Gonna be a little bit more difficult to push out on the point. We're gonna see the Haunt also reveal the location of a couple players. It's gonna be a 4v3 now, make it a 3v3. Philosophical seeing if they can pick out ahead, but just having a hard time doing it around these pyramids.
Last
Nice
player
Vipers focus, just one player remaining now for the defending squad. Wax Coyote trying to do whatever they can, but it's gonna be Smitty with the kill to get the defuse.
Even if Smitty didn't get that kill, Wheatley was right behind.
Yeah.
Go halfway. I thought, I think they were trying to give it to Smitty, whatever. But anyways, the spike does go down, so that does give some credits to the side of NW. But like I said, like I said, if Smitty were to go down, then Wheatley was right there to get the trade anyways. Yeah. But eventually, a bunch of trades, a bunch of kills go out for both of these teams, and V3 Dreams come out on top with the trade game and ultimately ended up in a 1v2 situation. Now, what that means for this second round, well, we see Full Specters barring Smitty, who's trying to be a little bit edgy and a little bit different, going on to the Sheriffs. That's, of course, me joking around. I can joke with these players. I know them. I don't know these guys, but, like, seriously. Again, he is the only one with the Sheriff. Every one of them has Specters. And for the side of, NW, that is going to be a gun disadvantage against them.
The gun advantage definitely in favor of V3 right now. We're going to see a flurry of kills coming in. JCX not long for this world. And with that, the score is 9-5.
Second round on the board as well for the side of V3 Dreams. Or second round in a row in terms of the half and what they're doing on their defenses. And what I'm noticing now, I know it's too early to call it. It's only been 2 rounds in a row for V3 Dreams, but decent defenses, pretty weird attacks at the moment, especially with Breeze being as open as it is. The sites are basically up for grabs, and defenders are forced to play retakes most of the time, especially on this A site. Area. The B site you can afford to anchor in. The A site not so much, not really. You will get punished off rip, especially if you're hiding in those tight corners, and if the boom bots are used from the side of NW or even the Seekers. If V3 Dreams are on the attack, etc., you can get punished if you are trying to anchor on the first pick is going to happen for the side of V3 Dreams, or sorry, NW, but they get quickly traded out. It's 2 kills from V3 Dreams, 1 for JCX, as we see the man count evened out at a 3v3.
Train going to be able to get the plant, but Wheatley takes them out almost immediately after that. The Seeds falling a little short as well, not catching them in their grasp. It's going to be a slight player advantage here for the defense, but that's taken care of quickly by JCX by getting defused right now. Just 1 player left. The defuse will come in. That'll be a 6th round for V3, and they're starting to close the gap here, Wumby.
They just won their bonus as well, and they also, apart from everybody, Heeker, barring everybody else, is the only one to get a Vandal, but nonetheless, V3, they're able to fold by this round. It is going to be a timeout from NW because, they're seeing a pattern here, just as I'm guessing you guys are, and just as you're guessing that we are guessing, double inception, whatever. I'm looking at the pattern here, and V3 Dreams, they're doing really well in their attacks, and NW aren't. And this is exactly what we saw at the beginning of this map. We saw V3 Dreams lacking on their attacking power, lacking in the gunfights, and then now we're seeing it from NW, and it's going to snowball if this continues, and so they're going to take a timeout to chill, to have a talk, and to see, what is the plan coming up for this next round?
That's an excellent question, right? Because they're getting I think there's been a little bit of I'm gonna just go ahead and call it. I don't like the Viper's Wall that I've seen come out on A site.
Yeah.
I feel like it leaves a little too much high ground exposure,
Mhm.
and it's causing them some problems. When you split that pyramid, if you split either of them down the middle, you're gonna have more high ground coverage. So yeah, I think I think it's a misplay, and so I'd like to see that standard Viper's Wall come out onto A site, but instead we're gonna have a rotation coming over to B. Quick welcome to Victoris GG. Thank you for the raid, by the way. So all those 38 people coming over to say hi, hello and welcome. We're in the midst of a fantastic matchup right here. Guiding Light gonna find a target, briefly blind one of the players on NW. Shot coming in. That's going to be a 2K for Wheatley. Severely impacting the ability of this team to push out. Train misses their haunt. Unfortunately, not going to get any info from that. Now, debating whether or not they want to try for the rotate, but look at this. Naga Jr. in their spawn. Going to have a nice shot coming out onto Philosophical, taking them out. Now, starting to push around towards A site. The defenders have caught wind of this. They're starting to rotate as well. Rendezvous from Chamber. Going to get them there post-haste. The wall's already up. Smitty is there for a pick. That's going to be Naga Jr. down. Now, they're opting for maybe the double juke. They barely got enough time. They're going to start sending it through halls instead. I'm not sure what the play is here from this squad. Are they going to try and take it to site through CT? It's the only thing I can think of here, 1B.
I'm not too sure what they're doing either, and I don't really think they know what they're doing. They're going through halls. They get shut down by Heeker. Heeker could potentially find himself a second. It's a bunch of missed shots from Crane on the Spectre. Going to turn around, get shot at again. Oh, what a nice little bait from B. Baiting that kill for Heeker, and what a good friend V is. I mean, can we get a can V be my friend? I need somebody to bait for me. No, but seriously, that was a force from NW as well. It wasn't expected of them to win that round, but they had some good kills, some good initial kills, starting with, despite that double kill from Wheatley, V got the trade, or not V, but what's the name? I'm thinking of it. Crane got the trade, and then they were able to pick up the guns. And that's what they wanted to do that round. It was either just get the 3v and get it right, as the top of the screen is going to be set correctly this time. So now it covers more height like we wanted as they attack onto this A site.
Nightfall gonna come out. That's gonna blind and track several members. They're able to take out B immediately because of it. We're gonna see the showstopper come out as well. It catches Smitty. Gonna be an advantage now for Nature's Wrath, one of the first that they've had on this side. But Seekers are coming out. They're gonna eliminate the position of several of these players. It's a 3v2. Another trade comes in. Again, the spike has been planted, so defense has to start moving out here. Crane Train gonna be good for one. Things are evened up now, but look at how little health is on the side of V3. They can't take any shots at all. Both of these players are in a one-tap situation. It's gonna be just one player on the defense, though. Wheatley going in for the defuse. I don't think it's gonna be in time. The round is going to go the way of Nature's Wrath.
Slops just ran away just in case, and I mean, you saved the operator, and she did. There you go, nice job. And I really like that skin, the jet skin. And she scouts out her.
Ooh, which skin was that? I missed.
I can't remember what skin that is. If she would just flip it out, she's not gonna flip it out. That's fine. But regardless of that, it was, it doesn't really hamper the economy of V3 Dreams as much. That was a much needed round for NW though, because their economy doesn't look too well. They're having to buy a bulldog instead of an actual rifle like the Vandal or the Phantom. And if they lose this round, since their economy looks as shot as it is, it might doom them for the next few remaining rounds, especially, the next round after this. If they lose this round, then they'll probably have to force themselves onto a bye, and usually being on a forced bye, you end up losing that round. And with V3 Dreams having the momentum that they're having, you don't really want to give them more ammunition and say that Beast is going to use his ammunition to get the
Wow.
first shot into this game onto Smitty's head.
Nature's Wrath with an early advantage here. That's gonna come out. Look at that! A huge pair of picks coming out from Beast. They're gonna be able to secure this site almost single-handedly for the side of Nature's Wrath. We're gonna see the neural theft
Spike
used as
planted.
well. They know exactly where these defenders are coming from. They're coming from CT, as it were. Philosophical now, gonna have to try and push through this cloud. But look at this. I mean, Naga's got the spy cam ready. They're right around the corner as well. They've picked out that Heeker's gonna try and push through that upper level. Spy cam taken out though. Rain Train gonna commit the C's, barely misses the corner though, so it's not gonna catch anyone this time around. Philosophical now making their way towards the outside. They may in fact be going for a save here, but that's a dangerous play. Oh my gosh, Philosophical able to take Naga out of the equation. But this round is going to lead us to a 10-8 situation here, 1B. Oh, I'm sorry, 11-7. 11-7, my bad.
No, you're all good. I was just gonna say, smartly, the remaining two V3 Dreams play with Sloth and Heeker just smartly backing off. They didn't want to risk losing the guns, especially guns as expensive as the Operator and the Vandal. So they smartly back off. They don't want to take those gunfights. They don't want to die. And so they save those guns for the next round, which is this upcoming round. Again, their economy was safe like 2 rounds ago because they had as many creds as they wanted to keep on full buying for a lot of rounds, especially if they were losing. That you do get, creds for that as well. But
Blinded.
now, if this keeps on happening, if NW keep on
Toxins
winning,
going up.
and if V3 Dreams can't find a way to stop them, just like how NW couldn't find a way to stop them, well then V3
Toxins
Dreams'
screen
economy
down.
might suffer, and they won't be sitting comfortably in the next round if this keeps on happening. And as I say that, Smitty is the first one to fall, quickly traded out. We end up in a 4v4.
Push coming out through mid, but they're backing off as several of the defenders have started taking more map control there. Viper moving their way over to A. Already got the toxic screen up. They might have to push it down though, as they start to push out onto point. Silva's there right behind one of those pyramids. Gonna be a problem for them. Wheatley able to catch out JC. Viper's ball going up now for the defense. Wheatley spotted out by the haunt. They're forced away. Recon Bolt gonna reveal the location of Naga, unable to quite take it out of commission before it does just that. Now, push again, coming out towards
30
A,
seconds
but
left.
it's a 3v4. Gonna have to put up the Viper's wall in order to gain access to site, but it just expired. They're gonna have to wait. Only 20 seconds left on the clock, 1B. All of the defenders now. Most of them still on B, but look at this flank coming in. 10 seconds left to go.
left.
They have to plant right now. Nice Molly to
Spike
keep
planted.
Heaven clear on the backside, on the CT side. Wax Coyote now moving in towards site. Wheatley trying to catch them out on the rotation, unable to do that. Gonna commit the Viper's Pit, looking to try and cover for the plant. Excellent play right there, backing off, just barely able to sneak out of the way. Phil Slothful now looking to push in. Spraying and spraying, seem to make it find a kill, but that just alerts them to where they are, and we are at that point.
This is V3 Dreams' map pick, and we're now on map point for Nature's Wrath, and rightly so, we see V3 Dreams taking the timeout because they know that they are tentatively close to losing this map. And you know what? I had a look at Twitch chat a little earlier on our break. I didn't look at it now because I cannot be bothered to do that right when we're watching this amazing match. But I had a look at it right before this match, and Royal said that they wanted to get a quick 2-0 because they don't want to go on to split. And I wonder why you don't want to go on to split. And I'm guessing they're sweating in their boots. They're saying, well, what the hell is happening? We don't want to go into split, guys. Let's close it out right here and now. And well, they can't close it out right here and now because, well, they have to bring it into overtime. And they're trying to figure out, well, how do we do that? Let's figure out a way to stop them next round. Well, let's see what they have available to them. They have Smitty's Tour de Force, and they also have the Seekers on Wheatley. What can they do with the Seekers? Well, they can get intel, and they can use that intel in order to thwart off the pushes with the other utility that they do have. They have the shock darts, they have the mollies on the Viper, they have the smokes on the Viper, plus the jets, and they also have recon darts as well, which can also gather intel along with the Seekers. You know, they could do a lot with what they have right now, but also in debut, they could do a lot with what they have right now. And they're on a full buy as well. Smitty not buying anything this round, not even buying shields, and is going to use the Sword of Force as well.
Guiding Light comes out, but Philosophical is out. Naga Jr. trades. Wheatley backing off now. Gonna use the Seekers. Go ahead and commit those, as now they're down. Back to an even fight. They want to keep this in their favor as much as they can. Gonna stall out the push just a little bit, but nothing really major gained from the Seekers on this attempt. Viper's Wall committed onto B, splitting it in half. A little bit of gunfire coming out. Here comes the null command that's going to drop the wall immediately. Now, Beaker able to take out Beast, keeping them at bay for just a moment. Train comes in with a pick as well. They look to be closing this out right now. Beast gets revived. Smitty going to have to come in big with the Tour de Force. They look for head, unable to find it. Knife comes out as well to try and take that Tour de Force out of their hands, but it misses by just a hair. JC now with the paint shells pushing in. He gets the kill in the meantime. Smitty tries for something right there. They're going to be forced to use the headhunter, and that's going to be a team ace for Nature's Wrath to take the game and even up the series at 1 apiece.
Wow, that seize onto V just summed up that whole game for V3 Dreams perfectly. Just it felt really like they just couldn't play their own game on Breeze. It didn't feel like, again, I'm gonna keep mentioning it, but the game against
Goofy Goblins.
Goofy Goblins last week, where they had a lot of freedom. Their experience kind of carried them throughout that whole matchup. This game did not feel like that at all. It didn't feel like they had any space to work with, whether it be on their attack or on their defenses. And every single time they wanted to do something, they got, well, punished for it. Every single time. They make one mistake and they get punished for it.
Yeah. And, you know, it's those mistakes. I think the small mistakes that just pile up more and more that led them to the loss right there. And what a showing from Nature's Wrath. I mean, coming out with a wild looking composition and making it work. Kudos to them. And thank you for showing me the potential of Fade on Breeze. I may have to try that out in my own games later on tonight.
Speaking of mistakes, we're going to have to admonish Juggle God in our next break. Scoreline was not 13-11, but at least your 2-1 overall scoreline is still in play. Split will be next. We will decide the fate of this match there. Don't go away. Welcome back, Valorant fans, to map 3 of 4 of this match between V3 and Nature's Wrath. A solid defensive effort saw Nature's Wrath bring themselves back into the series in quite an emphatic manner. And 1B, after map 1, and even after watching last week, we expected V3 to have a lot easier of a time here, but it seems they've taken their foot off the gas a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of mistakes made on Breeze that me and Juggle were very, very confused with. There are a lot of rounds, a lot of tracking rounds where their post plants just didn't stick. They didn't seem to gel well together. They had a few bright rounds here and there. Their defenses were a lot better, but that is when they capitulated, and that is when they lost the game completely. But regardless of that, we're gonna head into Split, and from what I've heard, this is not a map that V3 Dreams wanted to go on in the first place.
That's interesting to hear. I share that opinion with V3. Now, getting into some of the specifics about Split as well, Split, a very defender-sided map, right? So if we see one of these teams, it's going to be, I believe, let's see here, it is going to be V3 on the attack first. So if we see V3 come away with even a 7-5 half on attack, then that I think is going to put them firmly in a position to take this map. Now, even if we do see potentially like an 8-4 half with the attackers only taking 4, I don't think that's going to put them out of the mix. I don't think that's going to take them out of the game by any stretch of the imagination. So we're going to learn a lot on this first half. And I'm excited to see as well what agents they're going to pick, because I got to tell you, Nature's Wrath continues to surprise me.
That they do, and you'll get a very good opportunity to see what is picked soon. Agent Select about to be initiated. 1B, as we go into Agent Select, do you think we'll be seeing that more defensive side of composition that Nature's Wrath rolled out on Breeze?
Maybe not. I'm very interested to see what they do pick on their defensive side as we are in Agent Select anyways. Again, the same type of lineup on Split. Raze being a better pick onto this map as well, as the Cypher. And what I do like about the Cypher pick, what we saw from Nature's Wrath on Breeze, is the fact that, their lineup was mainly geared towards the defense. It was built towards getting as much of an advantage on the defense as possible, getting as many rounds of the defense as possible with that Cypher in play, which is what it's geared towards. And they did that. So I think they got, I don't remember what their half was at the end of the day, but I know that it was like a 9-3,
It was
9-4.
9-3.
9-3, yes.
Yeah.
9-3. So again,
we do have Cypher being picked once again by the defenders, and this again, this is going to be Nature's Wrath on the defense
Select
first. So
your agent.
this attacking half, I think, is going to be very, very tough for V3.
yeah, they're going with a different lineup compared to what Breeze or what they brought on Breeze. The difference here for the side of I keep wanting to call him New World as well. Thanks, Temporal. Nature's Wrath is the fact that they have an Omen instead of the Viper. Omen being a much better option on this map compared to Viper, especially with the buffs that he's recently gotten with his teleports and also his smokes. And for V3 Dreams, going with the Sage. Now, will we see a battle Sage or will we see a support Sage? Well, Wheatley has been in some really aggressive positions when they're on the Sentinel role. We've seen them kind of like be an aggressive lurker or even just like a passive lurker. They kind of alternate between being passive and aggressive when it comes to their flanks. But I'm interested to see how the Sage pick works out.
Yeah, haven't seen Sage rear her head just yet, but a very common pick, and I think a very intelligent pick as well. And especially since they're on the attacking side first, going into this very, very heavily defensive side of squad. Well, actually, I wouldn't say that. I'm not going to say very, very heavily, because they've got KO in the mix as well, right? That's pretty aggressive. But, given that they've got a more defensive-based composition, I think having the Sage there is going to be really good, because those heals likely going to be needed.
Yeah, especially this is gonna be interesting because especially with Sloth being as aggressive as she is, think about when she's like rotating to the stage and she needs heals, and then in a much better shape when it comes to these gunfights. Now,
Go get
the
him.
main focus for V3 Dreams is gonna be towards this mid area boombox going out for JCX, and the Rays being much better suited on a map like Split where you have a lot of tight corners and a lot of these tight corners where the boombot is able to clear out these angles and etc., especially with the paint shells being used in tandem with that boombot.
Moonbot definitely going to stymie that push, as is just Rays in general up mid. The Haunt used very well there too. I'm surprised to see the push coming out onto B because historically B is much more difficult to approach than A on attack. We are going to see them rotate out
30
and
seconds left.
after a lot of util has already been expended by the defense, this push on A likely going to be a lot easier. It looks as though the defense is wise to this rotation, though. We're going to see a smoke come out already for Omen. It's going to make pushing on the side a little bit more difficult. They have to do it almost immediately. Just 10 seconds left to go for the plant. And V3 may be falling into the trap we've seen them fall into before. They get the plant off just in the nick of time. For those of you who don't know, it is 3.75 seconds in order to get a plant off. So they only had about a second to spare right there. Now, just one player left from the defense, and that is Cypher, with about half health, too. Just a little bit under. It's going to be a very difficult site retake here, especially considering they have Breach, they have the Sage as well, while likely going to be put up around the spike if it isn't already. Naga, gonna peek, see if they can get the pick on the philosophical. Not gonna happen this time around, and V3 takes the first round.
Good round for V3 to claim, and one thing that I'm really impressed about, I was also very confused as to why they wanted to go to the B site. Like you said, it's usually initially a very hard site to crack at the beginning, and we are gonna have a quick tech pause as somebody is having issues with the packet losses. So
Yeah.
I mean, that gives us a little bit of time to talk about that last round as well. But again, recognizing how many bodies that NW had on the B site, almost all of them, actually all of them, were mainly geared towards that B site. It was only then that they noticed, hey, look, the A site's clear. Let's go over there instead. They did that. There were some rotates happening near screens and also on Heaven as well, where we saw two of the NW players kind of rotate quickly back into range of the A site. But by then it was already too late because, well, V3 Dreams, they were all over it. They had the spike down, they had the positions covered, they had Heaven covered. So if any of them wanted to rotate through there anyways, they were dead to begin with.
Yeah, and that that was just, I think, great play coming out from the attacking squad from V3. And I wonder if maybe A site wasn't their goal from the word go, right? Because again, B is so hard to push into. So they got a lot of the util out from the defense, from NW, Nature's Wrath. And real quick, you two are having trouble with NW. I am as well, but I keep wanting to call them Northwestern because I do a lot of collegiate casting, and I've cast that squad quite a bit. So Nature's Wrath, though, they expended a whole lot of their util, and then they didn't have much left once the A site push came in. And given that it's an easier push in the first place, it was just a breeze for them to come onto that site.
Yeah, exactly. The thing about again the way that in NWs, I'm just gonna call them NWs because I keep wanting to call them New World, but NWs, the main thing about their lineup is, again, it is geared more towards defense, barring the KO pick from both of these teams, because again, he is a very aggressive agent. He's a flasher, he has the fragments and also his null command. Of course, you can be extremely aggressive with it, especially when you can shut down other agents' abilities that they can use against you, such as the Hunter's Fury. That's a really good ultimate to be able to shut down. But again, and also barring the raise. So this is a really, again, they're going with the same lineup barring the controller pick. And I don't even know if I can call this, actually, now that I'm having a better look at it, if I can call this a more defensive lineup, especially now that I'm looking at the fact that they have a raise, that they
Yeah.
have a KO right next to each other. The only thing that makes that makes it remote kind of defensive is the cipher pick. But even then, when you have both the raise and the KO right next to each other, I don't really know what to call this lineup. Whether I want to call it passive, whether I want to call it aggressive, whether I want to call it defensive, or whether I want to call it more geared toward the attackers. Because at this point, I don't know. I don't think so. I think this is
Yeah,
all-
it's a very interesting situation. I'd like to take a moment to talk now about. Just hold on one second. I'd like to take a moment to talk about the composition, though, from V3, right? And one of the things that I think is interesting is theirs is so aggressive, right? They've got the breach and they've got the KO. And that says to me that they're looking to try and take this as quickly as they can. They're trying to mount an insurmountable lead here on attack. So it's very interesting what both of these squads are doing. But we're having a few more issues than we had anticipated, trying to get this player to reconnect. So we're actually going to throw it to a break here while we get that situated, while we get that worked out. So don't go anywhere. We will be back soon.
Last player standing.
That was just a tremendous showing from Philosophical right there. They were able to see every single attacker that came out. I believe that they had stuck themselves in sewers. And yeah, we're following Philosophical right now. The entire team just pushed out way too quickly, and they had this beautiful view onto that midsection, onto mid bottom, and through that we're able to just blow everyone away.
Yeah, my brain just exploded. Like, look, I'm sorry. We've been on break so long. It's really really late. I'm tired, and that just blew my mind up. And I wonder if it's gonna happen again. JCX holding the angles in events, going smartly back off as the fault line came in, and the Rays getting a little bit stunned from the Gunnison at the Boombot, also combined with the paint shells. Not gonna do any damage onto these V3 Dreams players, though,
Careful
pushing
here.
through mid.
Philosophical now moving up through mid. See if they can get a little bit more defensive positioning. They already know that both players moved up that direction. JCX getting suppressed. We're going to see a lot of gunfire coming out of Crane Train. Going to be good for 3. Now it's just Omen with the spike. Heeker deciding whether or not they want to continue going through the garage, but they've been marked by Haunt as well, so regardless of where they move, they're going to be tracked. So wisely, I think they're just staying in place for the moment until that Haunt expires. Going to peek down into B back. Look for the kill, find it, but the trade will be there from Beast.
Yeah, we saw a quad kill last round, or what, around before in round 2. Where Sloth, now we saw a 3K, not a quad, but a 3K, so close, but not really, from Crane in the last round, where just a lot of multi-kills from a lot of different players, and it's happening in quick success. It's happening in quick succession as well, so that's a consistent thing to look out for in these rounds. One gun that I'm seeing that's really, really, really interesting on the side of NW, or well, it was until they sold it, was the Judge, but they opt out of full buying this round. Apart from 3 players who are on Vandals, the only 2 are going to be Naga and Coyote, as I pronounced that weirdly, on both the Classic and the Sheriff, but Coyote not having any full shields, but the first player to get lit up is going to be Crane from mid.
Push coming out onto A site. Looking to see if they can push up ramps at the moment. Nice shrouded step from Omen to be able to move and make sure that they don't get caught out by somebody hanging out in screens. It's going to be Heeker, though, that finds Beast able to take them out of the equation, and now this attack can move on with a little bit more confidence. Wax Coyote, though, now in heaven, looking to see if they can get one. They're going to be traded out, so now it's a 4v2. But check this out. Spike is moving over to B, and it is completely open. It's just Sage in heaven on the A site. They're going to bait them onto there, thinking that they're still there. Taking Slight very slowly is going to be V3 now. But they've got full control of it, whether or not they realize it at the moment or not.
Mitty just looking down these stairs towards Crane. He knows that he's there, and he's smartly just not going aggressively until he can. He strikes like a shark, and he bites Crane's whole leg off and leaves them dead in the ground. And now we have Naga 1v3 situation. Can he find one yet? Can he find a second? No. Smitty playing so patiently in heaven, and he's able to get 2 from that same position. And that round started off of some missteps from Beast on heaven and on that A site. You know, he kind of misthrowed the suppression knife, just trying to get some intel onto A main. He tried to then throw his his I almost called them nanoswarms, the fragment grenades up the upper ramps, and that's when he got pushed. And he didn't expect to push because he still had his fragment in hand by the time he could push them, and it killed him. But then they baited the A site, went on to the B site, and NW were none the wiser.
You're right. They had no clue that that was incoming. We're gonna see Null Command being committed now for the push onto site pretty aggressively. It's gonna be JC who takes Midi down there. They're gonna see if they can find more, but it's not gonna be the case. Diesel back. We're gonna be able to get the pick onto Smitty. As a matter of fact, Weekly goes down as well. Wax Coyote hits the ground. It's just gonna be a 1v1. Easton Philosophical. Which way is it going to go? We're going to see the knife thrown out. It's going to be taken care of before any damage happens. But Philosophical, from the high ground, takes the pick and gets the win.
It's high time before high noon. That's a Western saying. That's not really how it's said, but you know what would have made that even better is if Sloth had the sheriff, and I would have said, "Hey, look, it's high time, high noon, a new sheriff in town." But no, sorry, I can't do that pun because they had the
It'll happen.
It'll happen one of these days when we get on the pistol round and one of these teams decides to do it. But anyways, a good round nonetheless from the side of V3 Dreams. Yes, it came down to a 1v1 situation, and yes, it had to come off of the backs of Sloth able to win out that 1v1.
Where are you?
A good site push, good site pressure onto B site nonetheless. They got the initial picks that they needed, and then after that, they just got onto the side to plant the spike. But now the focus is going to be probably another split push, and it's going to start off with me during the flashbang, probably pop flashing, but not really expecting how far that player would have been with this beast.
Wax Coyote in heaven. Looking to see if they can find a pick as somebody tries to enter sight. Train though, going to be able to take one out. They are traded as Heeker is there as well, near sewers and mid. Spike now rotating over towards the B site. As are all of the defenders, as a matter of fact. They seem to be wise to their play and are going to be able to meet them. We already see dark cover coming out from both Omens. Going to make pushing onto site difficult from both directions. You're going to see Omen actually TP over towards mid as well with Travis Steph. Heeker goes down, or takes one out. V finds another, and now the advantage firmly in V3's favor. Good for another. Flash comes down. They're going to be able to swing on him pretty easily. V3 gets the finishing blow right now. Wax Coyote now looking to hold on for dear life, but they can't under the barrage that came from heaven.
You can't hold under the impending pressure from a full V3 Dreams team, a full buy as well. That was full rifles versus really janky buy. There was a Spectre on the board for the side of NW, and also some frenzies and stuff like that. But when you put those guns up against Vandals and Phantoms, you might as well kiss the round goodbye. And I think they knew that by the time they bought those weapons that they were going to lose it. But regardless of that, you still try, and they did, and they could have gotten really close, but they didn't, and it's unfortunate. But now we move on to this next round where they have the opportunity to full buy.
The funny. They're going for the funny. Look at this. Oh, it wasn't the funny. I thought it was the funny. You can throw the C's on the roof there, and everybody gets bungeed up to the ceiling on attack. But instead, that was a haunt. That was I've played Fade. I know that lineup. It's incredible when you hit it, but
I think
they weren't able to get it this time around. They used the haunt instead.
I think I was like, I think I know the video that you're talking about.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Rolling Thunder committed though on to B. That's going to chase out several members, giving site control essentially for free now. Heeker going to be able to plant. We're going to see Paranoia come out. It's going to be Omen caught out though, as that smoke expires right when they wanted to peek and start moving forward. Now the attackers with a big advantage. Only 3 players remaining, one of them with half health as well. Midi gonna be suppressed. Gonna be worth anything though. They're able to hide. Nobody checks heaven. Philosophical and gonna be able to get through, and with that, the attackers take another round, making it 6-1. And I gotta remind everybody too, this is heavily a defensive-sided map. So right now, V3 is outperforming in spades.
Indeed, they are, and that all started off with I'm trying to think of off with the rolling thunder that happened
Yeah,
from garage. It cleared out the A side, it cleared out alleyway, and then that just get well, the A side also cleared out heaven. There was then a player who rotated from the V3 Dream side that rotated through heaven. They were able to cut off the key rotations that were going to happen through there, and also cut off they also cleared out alleyway, and then they got them free access into the B side where were able to plant. Smitty was able to take the high ground and get all of those multi kills, even though he was pop flash, and even though they rushed in after the pop flash,
right?
which pop flashing means, and they still didn't spot him out. They still didn't expect him on that high ground, despite him killing someone up in heaven. So that was pretty curious, but it looks like for the side of V3 Dreams, instead of taking their time like they did for the last few rounds, they're going to rush straight onto the A site. V is going to be the first one to fall, but they still have control of this A site, and if they use the Sage Ice Walls correctly, they could easily just cut off the rotations. But the Sage falls. Now we have a 3v1, and it's in the advantage of V3 Dreams themselves, so they don't really need the Sage Ice Walls to slow down the retake whatsoever. Instead, they get the kills that they need onto the site, and without using any utility whatsoever.
Yeah, this is a huge advantage for V3. Wax Coyote has a big ask in front of them. We're going to see the dark cover go out, giving themselves a little bit of room to start to push on the site. They're going to use the shrouded step, but the moment they step out regularly, Philosophical is there for the kill.
She's everywhere. You know what? Before we even streamed today, Temporal was describing Sloth to Juggle, and he called her a menace. And you know what? I agree. She is a menace. She's everywhere you don't expect her to be. She's everywhere but nowhere at the same time. And it's like
a
when
sneaky
you don't,
Sloth.
it's sneaky Sloth, and that's why she's really good on agents such as Chambers, where you're allowed to like lurk and stuff, and you're allowed to be sneaky. And also, well, when she needs to be aggressive, she is aggressive, and this is where agents like Reyna come to shine under aggressive players like this, because when you can get frags at the degree that Sloth can, Reyna is like her I can't remember the word. She excels. Her utility excels with that.
Yeah, the opportunity to overheal is just tremendous, right? Especially on a duelist, where you're expected to take some damage as you go in, maybe even get killed, right? Because you're gonna be that entry fragger. So having that ability to sustain is absolutely insane. Very balanced character, Riot. Very balanced agent.
Also, I was gonna
yeah,
say, also the ability to dismiss it offers
Yeah.
you a lot of the mobility offered with that dismiss is insane, as the fault line is gonna go through the mid, but they know about this player in the corner. But Sloth does see the gun, and so are they shooting at them? Yes, they're damaging them. That player is on very low
my
HP.
God.
That's Brain Train on 5 HP, throwing out the Prowlers, the Haunts, and it is both of those things are destroyed. The null command comes
30
out.
seconds left.
Coyote gets 2. Sloth does find a trade, but she was one of those kills that Coyote got down on. Now it's 4v3 man advantage, but 2 of those players are low. One of those players falling. It's Naga onto Heeker. Heeker now getting the spike down onto A, and NW have to play retakes, and now they have to play the retake in a 3v2 man disadvantage.
Eager with a nice kill onto Sage right there. Or rather onto I forget who it was actually. But regardless, it's just Ray's left. Smitty able to get a pick onto Wax Coyote. Now, gun pull happening over near screens. It briefly goes the way of JC, but Heeker is there for the trade.
Yeah. That battle through mid was insanely. It wasn't decisive whatsoever to what happened at that end of the round. What was really decisive was the rotate that came in from Heeker to actually, rotate through mid from ropes and into the A site subs, just so they could get that plant down, and it was successful at the end of the day. Not only did they get the spike down, but also once you get that spike down, you get an extra point towards your ultimate. So Heeker now has their ultimate available, which is the From the Shadows, and which you can teleport anywhere on the map. You can just bring up the map and then teleport, etc., etc. It's really useful in certain situations. So keep an eye out for that with Heeker. Maybe they'll use it to make like a quick like site rotations. They'll give Spike to him when they're trying to rotate from site A, when they're trying to fake out from site A to site B, etc., etc. But now, well, what does this round mean for the side of NW, since they're the ones to take the timeout, where they're having to force buy because they just lost a very important round in which they full bought. They depended on that round to get them to win, and it didn't, and now their economy suffers from it. So they're saving up this round just so they have enough to full buy next round, because they don't have enough to full buy this round. Duh.
No, it's quite all right. One thing though that NW is leading on is the ult department. They have quite a few ready to go. So if they can combine these in a useful way, if they can perhaps even, you know, I think using Nightfall and Showstopper would be an incredible combo, because you literally won't hear it coming. Gonna be a quick TP in from Coleman. Tries to use From the Shadows, but gets dissuaded from it quickly.
What?
Big Showstopper coming out from Raze. JCX has turned things around in a split second and left V3 scrambling.
The one thing about V3 Dreams is that despite having all of those players just die, well, 2 of them, not all of them, it's only been 2 players that died on site, they don't seem to commit to one site, like they don't commit Spike to one site, you know, despite 2 of them just being on the site, so they're disproving what I said. But it looks like they want to rotate to the A site because, well, the B site is lost. They just lost 2 players over there. Now, most of the not the V3 players, but most of the NW players are now expecting them over there. So now the rotations there from slots. Maybe they try and they go to the A site, and that's why the rotations are forced from NW. There goes one kill from V3. Heeker gets one onto Coyote, but he falls, and now we see a 1v3 man disadvantage. So V, can you find? Yes, you can. There's one enemy remaining.
What?
Yes, you can. That's the fuser still in hand. Judge, he switches out the Judge from the Vandal to the Judge. Okay,
no.
right back to the Vandal, and
Not
now
gonna get the round.
and he's not gonna get the round because he took way too long to plant. And it's
Needed
a
the
3
plant.
as well.
Yeah. Again, I feel like that's another time that V3 has fallen into that trap, right? Even if you're not going to go for the plant, at least try and bait out the other agents so that you can get the kill at that last moment. So in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to matter too much because they're still sitting at an 8-2 score line. So feeling very, very confident right now, I would imagine, is V3.
My ult's not ready.
Feeling very confident, but also NW getting a much needed round as well, especially since that was a forced buy, and now it was a round that they weren't expected to win. I don't think they expected to win it, and as I say that, Sloth, you know, gets the first pick into this round, and what better way to get it than through your entry? And it's off of a lurk again. Like, again, she's everywhere but nowhere at the same time.
Right, that's such a good way to put it. We're gonna see a Cyber Cage put up. Here comes another Rolling Thunder that's gonna smash into 2 players on the defense. Gonna be able to take one out. Here comes a Nightfall in response. Prowler gonna be sent out as well. Gonna try and find its intended target. Throwing out a C's to see if anybody is back in B back, but they weren't able to take them out though. Just 1 enemy remaining. Beast goes down, and with that, B3 takes another round.
Takes another round, and this is the last round before the swap. So this round doesn't matter for the econ next round, but what that last round entailed for this upcoming round is, well, look at the buy that we have for NW. It is a force, barring the fact that Naga does have a Vandal, but this is a round where they probably won't win, and they desperately need this round, especially if it's the last round before they swap onto the attack, which is the least favorite side on Split, may I add. So they desperately need this just to disrupt the momentum that V3 Dreams clearly have. They were clearly angry about what happened on Breeze, and so they're taking their anger out on the team that caused that anger in the first place in debut. So now this round is probably lost to them, especially it's kind of it's a really important round as well.
Let's see here. I'm trying to do my math real quick. Let's see here. Force round here. Round 10. Yeah, it's a little too far in the future to determine whether or not, they need to be looking at a full buy for round 12 if it goes that far. And it looks like it could because Philosophical already got one pick. And oh my gosh, Wax Coyote takes off in just the nick of time before they are shot with that, from the shadows. But Wax Coyote still able to find them. Or rather, Wax Coyote able to find Smitty after that TP. Very surprising move right there. We've got a 3v3 situation. He's peeking out from those shadows. Teaker looking to see if they can get a pick, but high ground advantage going to Beast. That goes with the kill as well. Spike has been planted though, so even though there is a one-player advantage, make that no player advantage as KO goes down. And with that, it's a 10-2 half in favor of V3.
Electrifying attack is the best way I can explain it. There's some good halves in chat, but I don't think that NW will be impressed by that whatsoever. I'm pretty sure that will be a tilter for them as they head onto their attack because, again, they are on the least favorite side now of. But I've seen some splits where like teams do really, really good on attack and then they do really, really bad on defense, or they have like a really good lead from their attacking half and then they completely choke it on their defenses. Will V3 Dreams be that team? Because I don't think they are. They have a lot. Again, they have a lot to prove coming into this split. So this is if the best way to prove if you wanting to be the top team in VRS is just by winning the matches that you should be winning, which is this one. So I'm going to dismiss. Like I said, we highlighted that dismiss juggle, and she does it again. She's been really good at using it as well at like the best of times.
Nice stage wall to come up to help Philosophical get healed right there as well after all that aggression came through. Trade was there, so it's still a 4v4. But this pistol round is especially crucial given how many points V3 already has on the board. If NW loses this round, right? Likely going to lose the next round. That puts them on match point, but at least at that point, they will have a full buy. Trade comes in once again, now a 3v3. NW has side controller at least. They do now. It's going to be one in heaven, though, that goes down. In vents, rather. Wheatley going to be able to push in now. Pawn comes out.
Oh.
Philosophical been marked. Wheatley now pushing into heaven.
There.
Very difficult situation for this defending squad right now. Checking all their corners. They didn't check exactly where they needed to. One player left from each squad. Brain Train not going to be able to get it, and that's going to be the defuse for Philosophical. There goes that round, 11-2, and most likely 12-2 as well. This is getting dire now for Nature's Wrath.
Yeah, like you said, usually the type of trend that happens here inside of Valorant, whether you are in competitive or unrated, whatever you play outside of Valorant, outside of you watching Valorant, this happens in the pro scene as well, where the first round, the pistol round, is what I describe as the most important round of the game. Usually the team that wins that wins the next round after that, and then usually also wins their bonus because of the momentum that they're on. Despite sometimes if they win the second round, the opposite team does have the opportunity to full buy, which does give them the gun advantage. But this round, they don't have it. Despite Beastly, they actually do have some guns on the board for NW.
Yeah, it looks like they've decided to force right here. They've decided that they can't afford to lose this round at all. So Eager even coming in with a Bulldog as well. Sorry. It's going to be a force. Naga Jr. coming in with a Spectre, which is always a little bit risky. Not opting, or rather for a Stinger, not opting for that Spectre. It's going to be a 4v4. Spike has already been planted. Retake in progress. ATX pushing through heaven. Going to be good for one. The trade. 3v3 now. Spike starting to heat up. Starting to push a little bit faster. Naga Jr. comes in for one. Now the
player
defuse is
standing.
starting. Philosophical's on it. Can anyone
One
get there in
enemy
time to
remaining.
stop it? It's going to be them continuing to try and defuse, and the defense again takes a round. It's going to be 12-2. This is map point.
Match point.
Yep, and just as the announcer announces, just as the UI of your screen says, it's not a glitch. This thing does not lie. We are indeed on match and map and serious point, actually, since
Yep.
this is the very last map, since this is
Yep.
a best of 3. Now, the thing about this round is, again, both of these teams, it doesn't even look like, V3 Dreams are wanting to full buy this round. And I mean, well, they don't have enough credits to do so anyways, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna try their damage to win this round. But they have a lot of rounds where they're afforded to make mistakes like that because Sloth just dies on rent very early on. They're afforded a lot. They have a lot of rounds where they are afforded mistakes just like that, and then then the next round they're covered because they have such a healthy man advantage, or not man advantage, but round advantage, because the healthy man advantage is actually in favor of NW.
Yeah,
Spike
NW
planted.
coming out big here. When the pressure is on, they are performing. Not going to be taken care of. Wheatley goes down. This could, in fact, be a perfect round if they're able to keep up
Player
the pace.
standing.
Midi down, and it's just Eager with half their health. They're going to find that flash drive in heaven as well. Now, Cyber Cage committed to this. What do you do if you're Heater here? What do you do? You've got a Bulldog. Do you save it? I think you might in this circumstance.
He doesn't. Yeah, it looks like he's trying to I don't know what he's trying to do, but
He was trying to see if he can walk under it, but no, he can't. He's gonna just save here. He's just looking to save.
Yeah,
Nothing
that's the
to
best.
be done.
Yeah, that's the best thing he can do. The one if what the heck?
Okay, so I know what this was, right? They didn't want to give the kill to the other team. They killed themselves, though. It's actually going to give them a little bit of an economic advantage there.
Okay.
That was the play. It's a little confusing. I see it happen every now and then, but that's the play right there. Although I've got to be honest, I didn't think that with the Bulldog he wanted to do that.
Yeah, that's why I was very confused. I know what you're talking about, and usually I get it, I understand it. It's just initially it confused me, and it may again be because I'm it's very late. I'm very tired, so I'm just very confused on a lot of things that are happening right now. That was just very confusing to me. He just walked straight into it. He was just like YOLO. But yeah.
Yep.
But
Gonna be a default coming out here from the attacking squad. Again, they know their backs are against the wall. They have to come up big here. Fortunately for them, they have the gun advantage this time around. We've got a couple shorties. Oh my gosh, big pair of picks from Beast. I believe that was that a collab as well?
Yeah, that was most definitely collab. And it happened onto Heater and Smitty. You lose those smokes and plus the flashes from Smitty, which can help you on the flashes helping you on retakes. Beast gets a third. He's on a 3K. He could just as well get himself an ace. He's trying to challenge Sloth, who has the areas in hand. Both can wallbang each other, both having powerful assault rifles. Also,
One enemy remaining.
coming out, and JC is able to confirm that kill, and it's off of the assist from Crane. Now they have control of this A site, and this spike in. He's trying to rotate through screens. It isn't going to work, and it is V3V to fall, and now we have a 12-4 scoreline. But not to worry, V3 Dreams fans. They're not just throwing. Again, they have a lot of rounds where they are afforded to throw, and with the gun advantage that NW do have, they're losing these purpose because now look, they can full buy. They have full rifles, they have vandals, they have phantoms, and they do have and also full shields. So this is a full buy from them off of losing those rounds that they just lost.
Yeah, they're absolutely going to be having a gun advantage here. We've got a Bulldog coming out on the side of NW, but they've got 4 ultimates to use here. It's going to be up to how they use them. I imagine we're going to see a push coming in utilizing that Nightfall. But attacking squad just content to default at the moment. Seeing if they can pull out a little util. maybe get a little information. Prowler goes out on A. They know that Ramps is relatively clear now. B starts to push out onto site, but Wheatley's able to connect and take him out. JCV is going to use their satchel to jump over the wall. Philosophical's there, though. It's going to be 3 players falling. Now this could be the ringing of the toll of the bell of the end of this match. Brain Train trying to push in. I mixed up so many metaphors then, but I'm running with it. We're going to see the Nightfall come out now. A last-ditch attempt to try and stay alive in this matchup. They've lost trail of a couple of the members of the team, but they're taken out by V3. It's just going to be Naga Jr. remaining. They're not going to be good for a kill. That's going to be V3 winning 13-4.
Wow, a amazing performance from V3 on the last map of Split. Turns out them saying they don't want to go there, just a bit of a bluff. That was an absolute stomping, really, and quite the performance, particularly on that map from Sloth. Very quiet at the start of the day, but stepping up, going back to the more comfortable Reina 1B and showing us just why we were so impressed with their performance last week as well.
26-8 on splits and 370, yes, 370 combat score, average combat score. So really, really good showing from her, but it was a team effort from V3 Dreams. They systematically took apart this NW side, and they did it with style.
Yeah, they certainly did, especially in that last map. Slight misstep on Breeze, but they were able to recover. They were able to put Nature's Wrath away, turning it into Nature's maybe slightly angry, shall we say.
Nature's Light Breeze. What was it about? It's really about the attacking side coming through from V3. They posted, what, a 10-2 half?
Yeah.
It seemed like the previous 2 maps, they had been pretty one-sided, and I guess it carried through to this one. But in this one, it didn't look like Nature's Wrath was going to be able to bounce back on their own attacking half. So I go back to my original question. What was it about V3's attacking half that made it so strong?
That's a really good question, and I wish I could put a finger on it. I'm going to actually throw it over to Wumby to see if you've got an idea as well, because, to me, right, on paper, I feel like NW, Nature's Wrath, should have come ahead, right, on that defensive round. They had the Cypher. They had a more defensive kind of minded composition. But, I think, honestly, it probably came down to multiple factors. The gunplay, for one, right? And in addition, I think the pace at which V3 took things, right? And a couple of misplays as well, because I think I even saw sometimes Nature's Wrath pushing out a little too much on defense, right? Getting a little bit too aggressive on defense. And again, that's a mistake because they've got the more defensive-minded composition. So they kind of shot themselves in the foot there a little bit, I think, as well.
And it might also have something to do with our player of the match for this week. Chat, you voted for the 2-time player of the match, Philosophical. So not ready yet? Okay. Well, it is going to be that. It is going to be Philosophical. Maybe not. Yeah, 1B, just talk us through their performance tonight. I feel like in the first 2 maps, a little bit quiet. We saw Smitty actually. So we saw them on the jet to begin with. Not a vision we'd seen of Sloth before. And it was actually a little more balance, I feel, between them and Smitty when it came to the people securing the kills on Breeze. On Ascent, where we started out.
Yeah, the main highlight for me when it came to Sloth and Herena's plays, and I mentioned this during Split as well, was the usage of the Reina utilities, mainly her dismiss and how smooth she was in using it. A lot of the times, timing it perfectly each and every time whenever she got herself into a hairy situation. And you saw her every time she got a kill, there was another player, like another NW player, ready to trade her out. She dismissed right before that could happen, got into another area, and is able to get like multi kills. And it's insane what she can do on Reina. I've mainly seen her on Chambers, and I've mainly seen how good and effective she is on Chambers, but I never really thought of her as a Reina player, and she's turning heads this season, and well, she's clicking them too. So
Oh, I see what's gone on now. I've misread this poll entirely. It's not going to actually going to be Sloth as the player of the game, and
okay.
it stands to reason. V3 has so much talent on this roster. We've seen different players step up at different times. Last week, yes, a bit more one player sided, but this week there's so much more to talk about in this team. You can look at V, for example. So V3V, very confusing at times. You think, is that their name? Is that the name the same as the team? No, it's a player on V3 called V. Played the Sova for the first couple of maps, move on to the Breach for Split. And it's good to see that, particularly when it comes down to like a Sova player, they've got the flexibility to move on to those other agents because, to use Sova as the example, you don't really see him on Split that much. So having a player that feels comfortable to move to another agent, you're not going to downgrade the performance of a team by taking them onto putting them onto a map where they might not be comfortable, is a great boon for V3.
Yeah, it certainly is. Another. I was just thinking back to Breeze, right? And that kind of misstep that V3 had there, and that was the one map where Philosophical played Jet. So I am, wondering if maybe that was a little out of her comfort zone, and going back to Reina could have been the key to the puzzle there.
Yeah, I was. Oh, I'm so sorry. I was just
No,
gonna
you
say.
go.
I think, yeah, I was gonna say I think the same thing too. It seemed like she did come up with some good Jet plays on Breeze, but I felt like again Jet was just a little maybe I wouldn't say it's not something that she can't play. Obviously, she can play a lot of things, I'm pretty sure, but Jet just seemed to be out of her comfort zone. That's fine. There are a lot of duelists around competitive Valorant who aren't comfortable on Jet, who aren't comfortable on Raze, who aren't comfortable on Reina, etc., etc. Just like how there are a bunch of people who don't like KO but are really, really good on Sova. It happens, and Reina is just her trick. Is Reina and Chambers is just her one trick thing, and it's fine.
Well, let's talk about a little bit about Nature's Wrath performance. To go 2-1, and I guess for them to start the season 0 for 3, it may seem bad on paper, but looking at the performance there, they've certainly got what it takes to stack up against the top teams in the division. In particular, looking at Crane, tempting, sorry, not tempting fate, playing around with the fade, maybe getting a little bit of a feel for the character. Of course, being a new agent, you can certainly make some effort towards improving your performance, but you don't necessarily have the same comfort you would have with a long-time agent in the game. So I feel like across the series, we saw Crane really improve the way not only they were playing their fade, but the way the rest of the team was able to play around the fade.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And that, I think, segues great into another point that I wanted to make about Nature's Wrath. And that's that they played the exact same composition all three maps, right? And I think what I would like to see coming out from them throughout the rest of this tournament is a little bit more flexibility in their compositions, right? It's great to have comfort picks, yes, but getting familiar with more agents and becoming a little bit more confident with those other agents, I think could lead them to a lot more success. Like you said, it's not 0-3 looks bad on paper, but it's not as bad as it might at first seem. And so maybe, becoming a little bit more flexible in their agent pool could give them that little bit of an edge that they need to push themselves towards a more winning season.
Indeed. And we've run the numbers. We've sent them off to MIT for double confirmation. There's some smart people over there, I'm sure. That's why it's a college I've heard about. Tell us about the MVP 1B. It is Hika with Toast, the controller player for V3 this week.
Well, I had a look last week, and also a little bit now today, where we had a look through the chat, and also we had a couple of chats with the players themselves of V3 Dreams, where the IGL link from Heeker comes in clutch, and not only does he show that on the scoreboard, but he also showed that in his ability to IGL as well, and he did a lot of good things on the Omen too. I was really impressed with a lot of his Omen plays, especially with his ability to smoke for his teammates and also use the paranoia along with that as well. And there were a lot of good teleports that I really did like too.
Yeah,
That's
excellent
great.
play coming out from Heeker. And you know what? Anytime a controller becomes away with player of the game, I'm happy. I'm a controller main myself, so love to see it. Absolutely.
Well, you two can be a controller, main. You've got a week off between this week and next of the of the Victoris Rival Series, but the action doesn't stop here at Victoris at all. The Legends series will be kicking off at the same time, same place tomorrow night, where there'll be more Valorant action. We also have multiple nights of League of Legends, so anything right that'll float your boat, we've got it here at Victoris. On behalf of myself and the rest of the broadcast team here, thank you to everyone who showed up. Thanks to the teams for putting on a great show. We'll see you next week.